on this, but we did a Twitter poll. People still wanted to see this game with Joel Embiid being out. Sixers and Celtics. Celtics struggling a little bit. Sixers struggling a little bit. Who do you think gets back on track tonight?
I think the Celtics have a lot of fewer things to deal with Joel Embiid being out. We've talked at times in the past about their center rotation just not really having the heft and the skill set to match with Embiid. But also, I'm going to be interested because now Al Horford, who it sounds like there's been a little bit of lamenting for him that it hasn't been exactly the role he wanted.
What did he say? I didn't see that.
I can't remember it. It was I think it was while I was in Europe, and there was something about like he was dissatisfied or something like that. But he's going to have a very different role, and I think that to me the storyline of this game and why I'm really happy that people chose to do it for the live show is that I'm fascinated to see what the Sixers offense, what's similar, what's different from before, because this isn't just Joel Embiid not on the floor. This is Joel Embiid not playing at all in the game. And so how does this change what Ben Simmons does? How does this change their half-court offense in particular? Because their running is going to be pretty similar.
Matisse Thybulle slated to return. Let me double-check that. Yep, he'll be available against the Celtics. So that will really help them, I think. I mean, this could be a run-and-gun offensive-type game. Now, the Sixers got completely waxed in Indiana the last time they played without Embiid. Maybe psychologically knowing that he's going to be out for a period of time can enable them to lock in a little bit more. But yeah, Celtics now have fallen to third in the East all of a sudden here with two unexpected losses against Washington and then last night against the Spurs where they really got blown out of the building. Kemba Walker was ejected and after a hard screen from LaMarcus Aldridge. And so he'll be ready to go tonight, I would imagine. And it'll be really interesting to see if Ben Simmons can pick up the slack. Boston historically has defended him pretty well, has done a good job loading to him in transition. And the other thing to watch, of course, is what happens when Kyle Quinn comes in the game.
Absolutely. And this is why, I mean, and Kyle Quinn has been this guy before last year in Indiana, why sometimes using a little bit of resources on a third, what you would describe as their third center is important because Joel Embiid, we knew there was going to be some load management type stuff, but for him to miss a couple weeks, that's kind of my instinct on it. That's going to be, it's going to ratchet up the significance of having Kyle Quinn on this roster.
Well, and they've sucked with him on the floor all
Yes, they have.
So here we go. It'll be Tice against Horford. Tice is probably thanking his lucky stars that Embiid isn't playing because he usually kills him. Ben Simmons with Gordon Hayward. The matchup on him. Now Josh Richardson into the mid-range. Takes a difficult mid-range pull-up, but it goes down. But they're not going to make a living on shots like that all night. Walker controlling for the first possession for Boston. It's Hayward at the elbow. Pick and roll, turns the corner on Harris, and his floater goes.
And there's going to be a lot less resistance at the rim now for the Sixers than most of the time the Celtics play them.
Yeah, the Celtics really struggled to get to the rim last night against San Antonio. That had been a problem for them last year. They had largely kicked that problem on the way to a top 5 offense this year. So here they're trying to go at Kemba Walker early. Nice denial, forcing Simmons out on the floor. Now he goes at Hayward and extends around him. And that's the shot that Ben Simmons, as much as the focus has been on his jumper, he has improved in other areas. That going to his left, as the left-hander, he could not really make that contested left-handed layup as a rookie. Hayward now fades over Harris. Excellent contest from Tobias Harris that time. Simmons now picked up by Brown. It's Horford on the drive, switched onto by Brown. Horford likes to get to that left shoulder. Oh, what a cut and finish by Ben Simmons. He's getting off early here. We said Boston usually defends him well. Not tonight to date.
Yeah, that was a really nice righty finish from Simmons on the opposite side of the basket.
Walker off the switch against Scott. Now it's Brown posting up on Richardson. Let's see if help comes. It said Brown with the fader, not there. Boston having to settle for floaters despite the absence of Embiid so far. Simmons again can't get it to go though, and Scott missed the tip. Now it's Brown pushing back. Horford picks him up. A lot of cross-matching here early, especially in transition. Tatum's first touch blows by Richardson. He's hacked from behind with no help available at the rim. You see the cross-match there with Horford having a guard on the perimeter. The other guys don't really have good help instincts.
And these last two possessions, one in transition and one not, Tatum has had trouble containing Simmons, and while he is a talented defender, especially in the team concept, it's against the most physically talented of his largely positional brethren that are why I don't see Tatum as like an elite defender, because he doesn't contain those guys.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the strength. Maybe he'll get there.
Good, absolutely
and as a help defender, I agree. But he's kind of more Robert Covington than Andre Iguodala, if you want to make some comparisons there. But a couple of free throws for the third-year man out of Duke. Simmons guarded again by Hayward. Similar set to what they ran on the first possession. It's Richardson stepping back on Tice, 2 for 2 on those difficult mid-rangers. So I was wrong that he wasn't going to make a living on it so far. What have you seen from Josh Richardson this year? How do you think he's fitting in Philly?
I think that the days when his jump shot is falling, it looks a lot better. But I wish they had a little bit more capable ball handler. He did that a little in Miami, but solid overall. I've been fine.
Yeah, I think his scoring is disappointing a little bit. Now a monster screen from Horford, and there's Kemba Walker again. He flopped on a screen against Aldridge and got ejected last night. Horford sends him to the ground this time. Didn't even see it coming, actually. That was a sneaky screen from Horford. But right back, Walker, 2 threes in a row of his own to bring Boston within 1. Richardson switched on to late by Walker, trying to post up. They are really going at him. This is the third time they've done so. And then Richardson going at Tice off the switch, and he'll go to the line.
Somebody asked in the comments, if you can't see us on YouTube, go to Nate's Twitter, and I retweeted it. It has the accurate YouTube link. I think it might be on a different account, but that's why we have the link. Yeah, and anybody who I'm guessing, I didn't see what the final number was, but I'm guessing people who had the over in this game are probably feeling pretty good about it right now. 22 combined points in the first 3 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and should you want to do some betting on this game, go to bookies.com, get a little advices, and they'll got a link for you to do so legally here in the United States, depending on where you live, and if you, of course, are over 21. Couple of free throws from Richardson. Offensive fireworks, 13 points in 3 minutes for Philly.
And Richardson has 9 of those.
Tice looking for the screen of Walker out of the corner. Good top side from Richardson, but then they blow the switch, and that leaves Brown wide open for 3. Josh Richardson had him topsided. He went back door out of the split cuts. Mike Scott thought he needed to pick him up, and that left Brown wide open. Horford not looking to shoot at the elbow. Instead, Richardson, again, they are really going at Kemba Walker. And, I mean, hey, why not? Josh Richardson's going to get in double figures here 3.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and Richardson hitting jump shots was a huge part of the Christmas Day win. We did that for the NBA cast when the Sixers beat the Bucks, and he's looking comfortable. And then now using some jump shots and getting into the lane too.
Yeah, so interesting strategy here. The Sixers still starting with a lot of size. There's no one Walker-sized on the floor. They are going to play Trey Burke later. You would imagine he's usurped Raul Neto in the rotation. But yeah, 11 points for Richardson. And those aren't good fouls, frankly, for Boston. Josh Richardson, you shouldn't need to foul him on that. You give up the jump shot. Yeah, he might score it, but he's not that much of a threat that you need to be fouling him. Here's Brown as they go under. And yeah, 2 threes in a row now. And I think that's a matchup that, with him being guarded by Mike Scott, pick and roll, Scott trying to get through a screen on Jaylen Brown is not going to work well. Harris switched onto by Tice. Here's a cut from Simmons. Oh, he beat Brown beautifully. I think that was Brown.
Yeah, and now the Celtics have actually taken more 3-pointers than 2s. There's 4-3 right now on their side.
Simmons switching on to Walker. He pulls up. So Al Horford is in a drop coverage. He is not getting out on the floor. And Boston just killing Philly with the 3-point shot right now. This is just crazy offensive fireworks. We thought this would be a high-scoring game, but this has been ridiculous. Looking for Harris out of the corner. Engages Tice off the DHO. Floats it up, but Tice with the good contest. There's the lack of physicality finishing from Harris that you'll see sometimes. Tatum trying to direct traffic. He wants to screen away for Walker. Tice belatedly realizes it. Another 3 for Walker. Not there. And yeah, that was a little bit out of rhythm. They didn't go to him early enough for Tatum's liking. But that was good recognition for him. Now they're trying to post Mike Scott. They
Scram.
scram him out. Nice job there. Brown, Scott into the lane. He'll post up and score over his right shoulder. But that's yet another shot that I think they'll live with.
Yeah, and that was a great job by Jaylen Brown to get Kemba out before foul trouble or an easy bucket, and that made it a harder shot even though it went in.
Here's Tatum, 2 screens out of the corner, gets Simmons on his back, pulls up, in and out. Tice inside, and oh yeah, that's got to be. Is it gonna be a loose ball foul against Tice?
I think it is. I think it is going to be, but we haven't seen a replay yet to see whether that was justified.
Yeah. So here's Tatum. I mean, I know he's being guarded by Simmons, but if you compare, nobody else on the Celtics has taken those long twos. Now you might say, well, those are shots that need to be taken by somebody, and he's got a difficult defender on him in Simmons. But that to me is a little bit part of why Tatum doesn't have the efficiency of Brown or Hayward.
Yeah, and it was something I dealt with when comparing those two guys in the top 10 prospects that we did. But let's talk to the people a little bit about Boogies.com. It is a new year, and it is time to get real about betting and winning on the NBA. And one of the things that I love most about Boogies.com is that it's really about information. And there are a lot of places that can take your bets right now. And if you're over 21, you can go to bookies.com/NBA to find out where that is. But what they provide, the most valuable thing to me, is information so that you can make the right wagers.
Yeah, and that's why we've partnered with them. They even use some of our content to give you betting advice. And, of course, they offer the best deals if you're going to click through. If you're a Philly fan, not the reason we're necessarily doing this show. There was a Twitter vote. It came out in favor of the Sixers Celtics. But if you're a Philly fan, sports betting is legal there. So bookies.com can give you the best deals to do that. So at bookies.com, you can learn and earn, and follow them at Bookies on Twitter as well.
Question from Prolific 5. What do you think of the job Elton Brand has done as Sixers GM? It's a little, I mean, it's crazy because it's a short sample, but it's also a lot of big moves. I mean, traded for Jimmy Butler, traded for Tobias Harris, signed Tobias Harris, got Al Horford. I would say I'm a little bit negative overall, especially because they gave up so much for Tobias Harris to give him a 5th year that the Clippers weren't going to give him. And so if they had identified Tobias Harris as the guy, even just Landry Shamet, much less the picks they gave up in that deal, would have been really good. Pivoting to get Horford, I think that's going to work out well for them long term.
We'll see. I mean, he hasn't looked that good this year.
And getting Josh Richardson out of the Jimmy Butler departure, but though a lot of that was luck. I mean,
right. But
Jimmy
he didn't need to depart though. They could have re-signed him. I mean, sure. I'm not saying that they should have done that, but
and I mean, if Jimmy Butler had gone to a place that could have actually just signed him, then they would have gotten nothing. And
yeah, but he didn't want it. There wasn't that destination for him.
Sure.
I mean, maybe the Lakers could have been one, but
yeah, if he had wanted to wait, that could have been, or the Clippers theoretically if Kawhi hadn't gone there. But yeah, so and he gave up. There was the thing at the draft day last year where Ainge leveraged basically everybody knowing that Elton Brand liked Matisse Thybulle, but Thybulle's looked good for where he was drafted, so feel pretty good about that. Is a Ben Simmons trade possible, maybe to a rebuilding team? It is not possible during the 2019-20 season. He is subject to the vestiges of the poison pill provision, which make it functionally impossible to trade Simmons. So that won't happen until, not only will it not happen until at the earliest the offseason, but July of the offseason, though a trade could be agreed to ahead of time. And we're back.
Yeah, that was quick. Yeah, Thybulle has returned. Boston going to a 2-3 zone. That leaves Harris open right in the gap of that zone on the wing. Basically, I would love to see what the stats are, but my guess would be any possession when you actually get the ball to the free throw line against a 2-3 zone in the NBA, your points per possession is probably going to be pretty high. And as Cantor has come on as well, he's rebounded well of late, as he always does. He'll take the free throw line jumper. Oof. Way off. Nice contest there from Horford. He was able to cut off Walker and retreat back to Cantor enough to disrupt the jumper. Elbow action here. Simmons rejects the screen. Oh, what a steal. That's the type of play where Tatum is so good right there. That move to the nail, then retreating back to his man, getting one of those long arms on the ball, and he goes for the pick six. Same action again. Horford looking for Harris out of the corner. He gets to the elbow, stepped up by Cantor. Harris wants it back. Thibault didn't recognize it. That was bad recognition from Thibault. Now they try to post Simmons, and another beautiful help play from Tatum. And I think they're going to give him a foul here on the side.
Yeah, Thibault kind of wrapped him trying to get a steal there. And these are the first 2 turnovers of the entire game for either team. Tatum generating both of them through great instincts.
Well, the problem there was Matisse Thybulle didn't see that Enes Kanter had switched on to Tobias Harris. That should have gone right back to Harris immediately. Here's that little stack action that the Celtics like. Tatum fakes the cut one way, now goes the other, forced towards the baseline by Simmons, out to Kanter, and now here's a drive. Is that Marcus Smart? Yeah, he gets the floater over James Ennis. Smart forced into a point guard role in the absence of Kemba Walker due to illness for 3 games before his return against San Antonio last night. Boston's offense not the same without Walker.
As you can see at the bottom, thanks to Min and RT Hoops, the Sixers have a 157 offensive rating and trail. It's amazing.
Simmons looking for James Ennis out of the corner. Now they try to set up another screen for Harris. Doesn't go there. Instead, Horford gets it. Swings it to Thibault. Now it's actually Ennis into the lane, and he'll take the pull-up jumper. Enes Kanter hanging back a little bit more. Oh, 2 guys missed the rebound. Tipped out. Simmons tried to drop it to Horford, but through 3 guys. And that's the kind of kickball. That's a terrible
Kanter was
kickball.
standing still. They shouldn't give him for a kick just because Ben Simmons threw it into his legs.
Yeah, I mean, it was either Kanter or Ojale, and both those guys are pretty much just standing there. Simmons, they go under on him. Horford misses the jump shot. Thought he had the opening initially, didn't take it, and then it was a little more contested. Good job by Kanter getting out of him. Tatum off the drag screen, gives it up, looks to get it back. Nice denial by Ennis. Here's Smart, switched onto by Simmons. He'll take the step back, and that's a little short. I still don't trust Marcus Smart's jumper, even though the stats have been better the last 2 years. That's good verticality from Kanter to force a miss, but that left the defensive glass open, and Horford is going to get fouled here. It was Ojale grabbing the jersey of Horford from behind, and the call is made.
They also could have called Marcus Smart on this. I'm guessing they'll put it on Ojale though, because Marcus Smart hit Horford's arm as well. They called on Smart. Okay, so that's his first.
What do you think of these Sixers jerseys?
I don't love them.
I mean, there's just the fact that they have to change it every year. To me, I guess the idea is you're going to sell more jerseys away because there's always something new. But a lot of these teams had like pretty good additions that they've gone away from with like worse ones now. A couple of missed free throws for Al Horford with his work on the offensive boards going for naught. Double screen here for Walker. Steps back on Horford and hits the jump shot. Kemba Walker on fire right now. He split that double high screen, engaged Horford, forced him onto his heels, and hit the Chris Paul Memorial elbow fadeaway.
And that's Kemba Walker's first 2-point attempt of the game. He was 3 for 4 on threes before that.
Harris switched onto by Kanter. Wants it back. Good denial by Kanter. Thibault not even looking there again. Now they get it back to him. Harris on the drive. Forced off the 3-point line. Short. The tip from Simmons. So we're seeing that the Celtics struggling to rebound on these plays where Kanter is away from the basket, but Sixers can't convert ultimately. Walker has Harris forced to his left hand. Pulls up quickly. Just a little short. And one of the things about Walker that makes him so hard to guard is he's not really bothered by that pseudo rear view contest like a lot of guards are. He gets it off so quickly once he gets that separation off the pick and roll, and he does it from 3 a lot of times. Now here Tatum, he thought he was getting scrammed out by Kanter, but Kanter was not there, and he had to go back. That's one of the more comical plays you'll ever see, but I think that was actually an error by Kanter to not get over into the post in their scram scheme.
Yeah, and that was probably a communication issue. Maybe Tatum heard something that he thought would signal it and then never happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if he did or didn't, he's supposed to be there, clearly. Like, the bigger man is always supposed to switch off to that. I mean, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time when you see Boston, it seems like that's what they're trying to do.
Favorite arena to go to? Huh. I've only been to Madison Square Garden a couple times, but I really enjoyed the feel of it. It is like it has kind of old bones, but it's been recently renovated, which I really liked. Oracle in its heyday was really fun because the crowd was rowdier. It was less fun as the team got better and the longtime fans got priced out. I don't have that many basketball arenas that really for pros that give me that goosebumps. I of course have sentimental reasons. Love Pauley, though I haven't been to the renovated one yet.
Yeah, are we doing just Boston and Philly? Yeah, during the regular season, that seems to be it. Especially, we tried doing two in one night. I found that I grew completely insane from having to do that and do Dunked On. During the playoffs, sometimes we'll do the end of whatever game is first if it's close, and then.
Yeah. Or because there are games sometimes throughout the day. Maybe we'll do an early one and a late one or something. We've done that in the past, but no, it's a lot, and it's the regular season.
Yeah, with Embiid out, I have more interest in the second game. I thought that might be the case. That's why we did that Twitter poll, but Celtics Sixers won like 2-1 basically. Although PHI was a strong contender.
It always is
in your poll. It's not as good as cake though.
Do you think the core of Jalen, Kemba, Jason, and Hayward have championship potential? Yes. I mean, that's a really good group. I think you need a strong fifth, but yeah, they could win a title with those being four of your best players. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there doesn't look like. I mean, maybe Milwaukee will end up at the end of the year if they win the title. We'll say, hey, they were this monster, and we didn't think that they were throughout the year, and we should have known with their regular season numbers. But yeah, I think so, especially when you consider that Tatum and Braun could play better, and they just need that fifth guy who's a real defensive anchor and maybe can spread the floor as well, do some decision making. I mean, that's not the easiest guy to find, but they also, I mean, keep in mind the trade assets that they have available still. They got that Memphis pick, so I don't predict that they will win a championship with this group, but I'm not saying it's impossible. Which, and especially considering how much Braun has taken a step forward this year so far.
Woody Huber asked the state of your bet with Jared Weiss on how often the Celtics close without a big. Do you know how that's doing?
I don't know the answer, but if you tweet both of us, I will happily respond to it and ask him that. I have not watched every Celtics game.
Gabriel Maldonado asks, is there a legit basketball reason why Michael Porter Jr. doesn't get more run? I mean, the part of it is... Oh, we're back. We'll talk about that later, maybe.
Defense.
Yeah, defense is a big part of it. And offense, I mean, remember, they're big games and small games.
Yeah, and also the fact that Paul Millsap is way better than him when healthy. So they're going with Cantor in the post. Oh, what a spin! And no help coming either there. So this is interesting. Noah O'Quinn, they're going now with Mike Scott at center, and you see how Scott is so worried about Semi Ojeleye shooting, he never even realized that Cantor had the matchup posting up. There's the switch. They scram out on Simmons underneath. That leaves Scott open for three, but a good close from Smart made it difficult. Tatum finding Walker. Scott trying to pressure him. They get out of there. So, oh, nice a yo-yo dribble from Walker, and he cashes out again.
I think Walker's 5 for 7 from the field now, 13 points.
Yeah, and Mike Scott cannot guard Kemba Walker, and I think that's why, as we're going to get a call on... Who did they call that on? Let's see.
I think they called the arm on
Smart
Marcus Smart.
For reaching around, yeah, and it looks like he got a nice little Charlie horse for his trouble there, too. Season comparison between last season and last season there for Joel Embiid. Interesting.
I think he was better last season.
Yeah, so I mean, what do you think of this group for Brown here with Noah O'Quinn? I don't know whether you want to call.
We're good.
Okay, I don't know if you want to call. Whenever you start looking around like that, I get panicked.
No, somebody said a volume thing, so that's why I checked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what do you think of this lineup here with Noah O'Quinn for Philly?
I haven't loved their defense so far. I mean, there hasn't been much resistance for Boston. So
yeah, I mean Korkmaz and Burke in the backcourt and no center. and they're going right into the post to Cantor here. Goes for that same spin, better defended. Oh, and he just knocks him out of the way, and this will, in fact, be an offensive foul for that reason.
Is Ben Simmons the biggest guy to get the JJ Barea sympathy foul? I mean, but the Cantor did.
Well, and I think I like, what I really like on this is he didn't flop, and they still gave him the call.
Right.
It's a clear offensive foul. He's standing there with his arms up. He just steps into him, moves his body away. You know, you already got the height advantage. You shouldn't also be able to allowed to do that. I love that call. Here's Richardson as they go under on him. He can't keep the hot shooting going in and out. Jaylen Brown has returned. He looks to push it in transition. They're late picking him up. Ooh, he carried it. Didn't call it. Now Smart trying to post up on Josh Richardson. They're going to call a foul on Richardson. Let's see if we can catch a... Smart had him all the way under the basket. And Richardson
grabbed his arm.
Yep, grabbed his wrist.
And nice by Brad Stevens to keep Marcus Smart in this game despite his 2 fouls. I think they need him out there to run the normal rotation.
Here's Hayward. He's returned as well. Celtics really struggled with lineups with just Tatum on the floor as really the sole creator. Last night, we haven't seen those yet. Usually at the start of the second quarter is when they'll go to some of those. Korkmaz, free throw line, Euro step, not close. Now they screen away, that little buck screen away for Brown. That leaves Smart open, yes. As Korkmaz came over to prevent the curl into the lane from Jaylen Brown. Right pass from Brown. And Smart with the jumper. 33-26 now. Sixers going to look for the 2-for-1. Early switch here for the Celtics. Nice pass to Simmons. He slipped it, but then the pass went awry. Smart could not save it, but it'll be a mere 6 on the clock for Philly. That was a great pass to Simmons, though. I love that slip, knowing that they were switching. As you see, Smart was clearly out of bounds with the left forearm before saving it. Not that clear. It was close. Burke, that's a good shot right there to get the 2-for-1, but it goes off. Here's Hayward looking to push it. No reason really to run the clock down here with a 7-second difference.
Yeah, when the other team gets the 2-for-1, you just take the best shot you can, and I think teams should push more in transition there than they do.
Yeah, I don't know why he slowed down. Oh, Smart, big matchup here in the post against Burke. Burke trying to body him. Smart goes through him. Fader, and this will stay here as Cantor's pressure led to the fumble out of bounds for the Philly Bigs.
Yeah, and now Philadelphia does not get the 2-for-1 after the team rebound.
Yeah, now you want to run the clock down for the last shot.
Yeah, and I also though still think that teams don't run it. They run it down too far because you want to give yourself an offensive rebound chance.
So this is interesting. They don't have like the ISO guy on the floor, so they're going to go with Smart into the lane. Simmons scares him, but he scores it anyway. Nice. That was really nice there.
And Brett Brown should have subbed. I mean, couldn't they have subbed in somebody other than Trey Burke?
That's a good point. Now, I mean, he likes to stick to his rotations pretty rigidly. Is Richardson still out there? Yeah, maybe they could have gone with him. But, I mean, he kind of likes guys to get his rest. Maybe he could have gone back to Thibault. That's a good point, though.
Yeah. And it's those little basic things, giving the Celtics an out. They had 9 seconds left, a defense-only possession. I mean, that's 2 points that the Celtics are going to have on the board the rest of the game.
Yeah, Ben, could you tweet out that clip of the offensive foul where he didn't flop and how much I love that? That would be we're changing things one tweet at a time here, Danny.
Well, let's talk about something else that we love, which is bookies.com. And this is an appropriate one. You talked about how if you're over 21 and you're in the right states that you can wager right now, and that bookies.com/NBA is a great way to do it. They have the latest. On a single page, you can get live NBA odds, really whatever you're interested in. And that's really valuable because different sites that are legal can have different numbers. And so if you have an idea of something, getting the best number for yourself is a fantastic benefit. And being able to go to one page to get it is a really good thing. And then they also have experts like Marcus Strawman to give you information to make your own wagers.
Did you just call him Marcus Strawman?
I did. Marcus Thompson's in my head because we've been slacking all week. Sorry.
Well, so here are Mark's picks for today. Pistons, Cavs over, based on that terrible Cavs defense, I could see that. Pistons also have been really
Yeah,
bad.
32-26 first half. So I think that's looking good.
Yeah. He also had Hornets Jazz over. Hornets have been pretty efficient. They also played a pretty slow pace, so their over unders have been low lately. So I think that's the thinking there. And he had Boston plus 1.5. So we can keep an eye on that. See how Mark's doing tonight.
I mean, that 1.5 looks pretty good right now with the Celtics having that 9-point lead.
But even if you're not a big fan of Mark Stratman or Marcus Stratman,
Whoever that is,
follow. You can still get the raw information. Great deals on legal sports betting if that's available where you live. Follow at Bookies on Twitter. They got a lot of good information there on betting as well.
so to me, one of the most important stats of this game so far, 6 of 9 for 3 from the Boston Celtics. And a lot of those have been really clean looks. There were those plays early on when Al Horford was dropping back. Kemba Walker, 3 of 5. Jaylen Brown, 2 of 2. And if the Sixers keep conceding clean looks to this Boston team, they're going to do well.
How big is this Joel injury to seedings? Let's take a look here.
It's so close right now.
And let's see how they play. Maybe if they can get their shit together, they should still be able to win games without him.
I'm gonna look at Philly's schedule.
Yeah.
Because I mean there's a subset of games that it doesn't matter as much where it's like if you're playing a poor team. At Dallas, at Indiana, both games that they could really miss him. Brooklyn, Chicago, New York, Brooklyn. So as long as if they can make it through that stretch, those 4 games unscathed, then I think it doesn't end up becoming that big a deal. But if they lose one of the Dallas Indy games and they lose one of those, then I mean 2 games could be a huge swing in this.
All right, we're back here. Smart still guarded by Trey Burke. Let's see if they go back to this post-up matchup. Hayward. Now it's Brown. Goes right at Harris, but lost it. Yeah, it seemed like the play call there was just for a Brown ISO. And good job by Norval Pell. So Norval Pell is getting the backup center minutes over Kyle O'Quinn right now. Here's Harris. Pell trying to post up. It gets out of there. You'll see Harris get a chance to go at Cantor one-on-one, and he scores on him easily. That's the matchup that Thibault, I thought, wrongly eschewed a couple of times. And maybe we'll see if the Sixers can go back to that. Hayward. High pick and roll with Cantor. He's guarded by Richardson. Engages Pell. Steps back. Oh, the rejection. Gordon Hayward could not create enough separation.
And something Bobby Marks talked about today on Twitter, Norvel Pell only has 5 days left of NBA service left on his 2-way, so that's not enough for the Joel Embiid injury in all likelihood.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll have to see if maybe they try to do a conversion for him. Smart trying to post up on Burke again. 4 on the clock. Nice cut by Brown. Gets Pell in the air and missed the layup. Brown can't believe there wasn't a foul. And are they going to call this foul on Jaylen Brown after the shot? Yeah, they're saying he grabbed Ennis. That's when I think you can just let it go. That didn't affect anything. Yeah, watch his right arm here. It's going to come down. And, oh, yeah, he grabbed him pretty substantially there. All right, I'm okay with that in retrospect. Richardson snakes it, lobs it. Oh!
Wow.
What a pass! That was awesome. Grant Williams stepped up. And that let Pell get behind him. You don't want to let the big get behind him. There was help from the weak side, but not enough. What a pass. And now they're going to get Grant Williams. Another error from him as he commits the offensive foul.
I didn't think there was... Yeah, he's still moving. That's the right call. I thought Williams had stopped, but he had not. That was a good call.
Yeah, and you see how good a pass that was. It looked like there was a late switch, but maybe it was Williams not stepping up quickly enough to put pressure on the passer, but that was just a dime. Now they go under on Richardson, rescreen coming. That time they make contact. Mid-ranger, off, and looks like a foul on Pell in the rebounding action.
And so we'll also see if Boston can. I mean, they've had a couple looks so far that have gone wanting, but we'll see if they can generate looks in the Tatum only minutes.
I love it when you start picking up my diction.
Yeah,
It happens to everyone around me.
like that wasn't a great shot either. It wasn't
Yeah.
terrible, but
Yeah,
a free throw line floater from Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it hasn't looked as good without Walker in the game. So, have we seen Wanamaker yet? We haven't yet, huh?
I don't think we have.
Cantor fighting his own teammate for the board.
Yeah, and these aren't Tatum minutes because Tatum isn't on the floor. I just realized. I forgot
Yeah,
to note that.
so they have changed up the rotation some here. It looks like Wanamaker is out. Here's Smart. Yeah.
He heard what you said about his jumper.
Is that 3 threes for him already?
I believe that's 2. He missed one of them.
40-30, Boston looking for Ennis out of the corner. And that was a nice recognition by Burke, but Hayward was all over it. Former teammates in Utah. Burke, number 9 pick in 2013. Hayward was there since 2010. Here's Braun. Swing again. No, nice close by Harris. I thought Hayward passed that up. Here's a drive from Braun. Can't get the layup. Pella has really bothered him on a couple of these now. Harris at range, forced towards the baseline, pulls up for mid-range, and that's off.
And Tobias Harris now 2 for 7 from the field in this game.
Nice pass, and Cantor will finish it over Pell that time, and Brett Braun is going to get a timeout. That is a beautiful pocket pass by Hayward.
And so far in this game, Al Horford played, I believe, the first 9 minutes of the game. It was only a 2-point margin for Boston. Now, since he's been out, it's a 12-point margin. So they've been outscored by 10 points in the minutes that Horford didn't play. Joel Embiid-esque with the disparity.
Grant Williams, by the way, Jay King just noted this, that he immediately was taken out
After the
those
twin
two
mistakes.
possessions. Yeah. So it was hard to tell exactly who made the mistake on that one, but Brad Stevens apparently thought it was Grant.
Favorite Davis Bertans destination?
I mean,
San Antonio?
I've actually really enjoyed him in Washington.
I have too.
Right, he's really broken out there. He'll probably have a bigger role there than he would anywhere else. Now, they're not a relevant team, so
if the Bucks were willing to pay the tax, and so he would
like
stay
to
long
bring him
term.
back, you mean?
To bring him back, to have him instead of Ersan Ilyasova in the rotation.
Well, and so what is that then? The Indiana pick?
Yeah, probably.
Ooh, that is not bad right there, Danny. I like that one. Now, would they just it would give them another dimension of just like, hey, you can run some plays for this guy coming off of screens. They just need more things that they
yeah,
can do
and I think
offensively.
Bertans could be useful in the non-Giannis minutes and the Giannis minutes, which is it's a nice little balance for them to have.
Yeah. You play Giannis at center and him at the 4, and then you could do a lot of good pick and pop stuff between those guys as well. Where you want to put Joel Embiid on Giannis. Well, that now Giannis or Bertans have to guard Embiid at the other end. You probably have to do some double teaming. But okay, well, why don't we have Bertans screen for Giannis and then pop out to the 3-point line and see how that goes?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that one. That Indiana pick. Now,
this might be the first improvised fake trade that I've ever given that you wholeheartedly endorsed immediately. But yeah, it's a good fit.
Yeah, no, this is I like that one. Is that going to happen? Who knows? Especially because of the tax implications that you noted potentially going forward for Milwaukee.
Though actually, if let's say Ilyasova was the salary ballast, which would be hard for Bike Budenholzer emotionally, it would be then if they were going to keep Ersan, it wouldn't be that big a deal. They could actually do it.
They could go DJ Wilson and Dragan Bender, who somehow didn't get cut the other day. Pat Connaughton or Sterling Brown. They could get to the number pretty easily and take back, some other minimum from Washington into just a minimum trade exception to let the minimum exception, I should say, to allow the roster numbers to equalize. Pell screening for Burke. Swing it to Richardson, but the pass is at his feet. Still 12 on the clock, though. He gets into the lane, and Korkmaz, wow, they totally left him, and he drains a three. Jaylen Brown was on Korkmaz. He shifted to take away the roll from Pell and then got completely obliterated. Ojale maybe probably should have stuck out there instead to pick up Korkmaz, but that would be some next level communication. Here's a three by Hayward. Wow, that's way off. A good contest late by the Sixers. Yeah, Josh Richardson did a nice job. Sometimes, like, the best defenders can go under the screen and still deter that three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
Little flare screen. Ojale takes that away. Now he gets there to force Harris to the baseline. Dude, that's great defense from Ojale. Really, really good stuff there. But once again, the Celtics over-rotate. Korkmaz got the open three, but couldn't cash out that time. Smart, guarded by Simmons. Pick and roll with Cantor. Tries to snake it. Simmons almost got the steal, but instead gives up the easy floater as Cantor's roll into the body of Pell prevented any help from
and Simmons leaning his body to his right to try to get the steal, then he was completely wrong-footed, basically, for Smart's drive.
Ojale, again, he's doing a nice job of directing the ball. Celtics very switchable right now. They try the slip with Simmons. Good help from Cantor, but that leaves Richardson wide open for the three. Again, a miss. Cantor rebounds. Now he's going to run the floor. Brown looking to push it. He's got the smaller man. Richardson finds Ojale. No hesitation, but didn't really have his feet set. And Cantor can't believe that tip out went.
He tipped it to the only non-Celtic there. But I mean, it's big. You just hit it where you can.
I like that move by Simmons. I mean, it's always kind of a BS play to feel the contact and throw it up, but he needs to get to the foul line a little more than he does.
And we've seen the Celtics 3-point attempt rate drop without Kemba Walker on the floor because they lost that really the reliable pull-up jump shooter. And also Jaylen Brown did that more when Kemba was in the game than when he's been on without him. And the aforementioned Kemba Walker looks like he's coming in.
So rotational changes from last night. Looks like Ojale, he's already on 10 minutes now. Maybe they like him against some of these bigger creators. But he's really replaced Wanamaker in the rotation. And it seems like they've also moved Tatum, who's returned now. They've gone away from those minutes with Tatum as really the only creator.
Yeah, they had Brown and Smart on the floor in those minutes.
So Ojale will be replaced. He had a nice defensive run, and they couldn't really make him pay by not guarding him on the other end. Grant Williams getting another shot at it here, as Tice is also back. Tatum has Korkmaz on his back, and then he drives again. That's another play by the Celtics bigs where they've actually prevented help from coming by quote-unquote rolling to the basket. Simmons, pick and pop with Korkmaz. They switch that, no problem. Good communication. Horford, left open as Tice helped on the back cut, but no opening created. Brown getting through the screen. This is great defense. Korkmaz is going to just get bailed out here. He turns it over. Now, Brown has Walker, who's returned. He gets Tatum, corner three. No, Horford closed him down, but instead Tatum into the lane, and he'll go to the foul line. That's really nice defense possession on the other end by Boston.
Yeah, Boston, and then I thought the rotations from the Sixers to stay in, even though the transition, Tice held the ball a little too long to slow down transition, but that's still a really nice job by the Sixers to not concede an open shot originally.
Yeah, I thought they were going to bail out Korkmaz with the foul call, but thankfully they didn't. That was not a foul. Ooh, Gallo is actually going to play tonight.
Yeah, he got upgraded, I think, like an hour ago, and that's good that he's going to play, though.
Here's a question via the Twitterverse. Would Norville Pell start for the Hawks?
No,
he'd be their best shot blocker.
I don't think he would start, but you can make an argument he'd be their best center anyway, because Len has more equity. But
yeah. I mean, or should he? I mean, it was probably more.
Yeah,
from Andrew there on Twitter.
I think that's Ben Taylor noting that the ceiling when the wing drives is a design thing that the Celtics do. He's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, it seemed like Steven Adams and Russell Westbrook were the first guys who really took advantage of that. And I mean, there's no reason not to do that. Like, more bigs should do that for sure.
And Tatum in this game, these are, I believe, his first 2 free throws, 2 of 3 from the field. So these are now his 6th and 7th points, 4 rebounds, but those 2 big steals.
Grant Williams has the matchup on Simmons. Now they run a shooting set for Horford, and he cashes out. Wow. Al Horford has not had the 3-ball working much of the year, but Jason Tatum did not switch out on that. They probably would have liked for him to do that, and Horford hits the 3. First time he's been aggressive, really, with the jump shot. Thibault can't get back to Brown. Almost got the steal anyway. Here's Grant Williams. Can he make a 3? No. Nice rebound from Tice, though, and not over and back because they didn't have control of it on the tip. Walker, hedged by Korkmaz. Brown with the deep 3. In and out. That 3, though, was only available because he was a step behind the line. Now Horford, can he make 2 in a row off the dribble? No, instead it's Korkmaz for 3, and that wasn't even close. If you're a designated shooter, like, you shouldn't be missing like that on a wide open shot. Williams at range, not looking to shoot after the previous miss. He'll screen away for Tatum, but instead they switch sides of the floor. Walker off the Tice screen into the lane. Tice will take the pick and pop 3. Yeah, Daniel Tice had a couple of 3s last night from that same area against San Antonio.
And their Thibault fought around the screen, but then they still gave up the pick and pop 3.
Boston's killing him right now. Oh, nice in and out dribble by Simmons. I like that. I really like that move by Simmons. That's what we need to see more of from him. If you're not guarding me, I'm going to attack you, break you down with an in and out move, and get you on your heels, then go up and finish. Walker, again, that deep 3, not there, but that was Williams who missed the tip-in. Horford with a legal screen puts Williams to the ground. Simmons between 2 guys blows the layup, and
that's off Jalen. It's off of Horford, threw it off a Celtic. I think it was Kemba.
Yeah, he was about to land out of bounds. I think he got rid of it in time. Yeah. Great job. Walker can't believe it. He thought Horford landed first, but I think he's in error. Yeah, and that didn't look like much of a flop from Grant Williams. I think he just ran into Al Horford.
Oh, it might have hit Horford again. I think that might be. I think that might be what Kemba's saying.
Yeah, Tatum was shaking his finger because he knew what the referee thought he saw, and he's like, "Oh yeah, now they do in fact give it to Boston." Good job of the officials there. Brown taking advantage of Thibault helping, but Thibault with a great close. But Ennis then had to help on him, and Brown misses the wide open 3. Simmons looking to push against Williams again. He's got confidence against him, and then they have to load to him. That sets up the wide open Horford 3. Rebound by Scott. He can't get that. The Celtics struggling to rebound in the absence of Cantor, but no damage done. Now it's Brown right down the lane, and he blows the layup. That's a couple of these finishes have looked like last year, Jaylen Brown. Ennis, corner, Thibault, his 3 is off. Man, Philly can't hit a 3, but Horford realizes.
But the Celtics can't get a defensive rebound.
Yeah, and Brad Stevens is going to call for time here. I think he should go back to. Well, it's interesting because the Cantor Horford matchup with the shooting, it seemed like Stevens, whether this was on purpose or not, was going for Cantor whenever they had a non-shooting center in the game. Do you agree with Ben Taylor about rebounding? To me, is vastly underestimating how important and difficult it is to rebound. To me, it's, and I think this is echoing some of Ben's points. Number one, it's about the value of replacement, right? If you're going to replace a center with a point guard, yeah, then you know what? You're probably going to not get as many rebounds, right? The team overall is going to struggle a little bit more. But if you're going to say, oh, this center has a 30 defensive rebound percentage and this other center has a 27% defensive rebound percentage, and this center gets 12 rebounds a game as opposed to this center getting 10 rebounds a game, that to me doesn't really matter that much. An individual defensive rebound in particular doesn't matter that much. Now, offensive rebounding, which I think wasn't talked about nearly as much by Ben, offensive rebounds remain extremely valuable. It is very rare that you can say somebody got an offensive rebound that his teammates would have just gotten anyway. So I think you have to kind of look at it as, okay, on defensive rebounding, what's the team's rebounding on the floor? What's the value over replacement? Think of how many possessions the offensive team doesn't even go for a defensive rebound. So those defensive rebounds add nothing.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful about defensive rebound. Now, if you're going to say, hey, you know what? This guy's such a good defensive rebounder. We're going to just send two guys running down to the other end as soon as the shot goes up because we know he's going to get the defensive board. That's one thing, right? Like, that does become valuable. It helps your offense on the other end. But just to say, all right, Russell Westbrook or Luka Doncic are getting 10 rebounds instead of 6. Mm-hmm. That doesn't really do that much. The team would probably get those rebounds anyway. And, yeah, they might turn those into offense going the other way. But, that's really more about their fast break ability than it is the value of that rebound, because someone else, most defensive rebounds, if that guy didn't get it, someone else on that team would get it.
Somebody asked about a hypothetical Devin Booker for Ben Simmons trade. Would it help both teams? It would clarify the Sixers offense a little bit. It would dramatically weaken their defense. I mean, because you go from kind of the idea of having Tobias Harris as your worst defender to not having Tobias Harris as your worst defender. But yeah, Booker would help them offensively. And then Simmons on the Suns, I mean, you create some spacing issues with him and Rubio, and especially if they want to play Ayton with another big. I mean, granted, Tippy Toes can make some threes, but Simmons would bring a defensive element to them. So I don't think it helps both teams, but I do think that there's a rationale behind parts of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be back here in a second, but I think especially for what Phoenix needs, I think that Booker is better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nice job keeping Tatum on the left side of the floor, and he bricks the three as a result. That was a good job by Ennis. Did not let him turn the corner on that DHO. Screen for Thibault. Swing it back to Horford. Late switch onto him. Is Horford just going to go at Walker here? Let's see where the help comes from. It's Tatum. That leaves Ennis wide open. Yes. Nice pass by Horford. Good recognition. He wasn't going to blow by Walker, but just to back into a threatening position. And that left Ennis wide open. No rotation out of the corner. Maybe Boston could have gotten an X out there instead.
And the Celtics were 6 of their first 9 from 3 and 2 of their second 9 from 3.
Oh, yeah. Ennis, a lazy pass from Walker, but he's not able to get it. Too bad. He accelerated so much he couldn't stop his momentum.
I think they shouldn't have reset the shot clock there. I don't think he ever controlled it. Especially because they didn't reset it.
Oh, no. That dribble was a controlled dribble. I think you should reset it there.
Okay.
But he would have been better to just throw it back over his head, maybe blindly.
In case a teammate could get it.
Walker fakes the screen for Tatum. Now it's Tice back to Tatum. This is good defense here by the Sixers. That is awesome from Ben Simmons. Just never gave up. Got back in front of Tatum. Never got him a shot and was able to knock it away. But then a good play by Smart, who's come back on. Celtics to look good defensively in his minutes. And as good as everyone looked offensively, Philly, what did they have? 22 points like the first 6 minutes? And they've got 20 in the next, how much time is left here? This is
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, so they've got 20 in the next, 15 minutes after that. Here's Hayward at range. Pick and roll. He'll pull up for 3. A little short. Gordon Hayward, these looks are just not quite clean enough for him from 3. Horford trying to post up against Hayward. Hayward saying, hey, he's still just shoving into me here. And the Ennis drive, I thought that was a good job by Ennis driving, knowing that Hayward was engaged and couldn't help. but in the end, it couldn't get a finish there. Yeah, it was Tatum again with that little strip down. And Ennis not an advanced enough passer to see that three-pointer available that Tatum left open. 10 on the clock now. They bring Richardson off the screen. He's quieted down significantly. Not an advantage matchup against Smart, but able to hit that shot anyway. Use the separation of Smart going under the screen to get to his spot in the lane. Tice, split cut action. Ooh, Walker looks like he hurt his hand setting a screen. Hopefully he's all right.
Tatum didn't see Tice. He was wide open for the pick and pop three there.
Now Tatum creating the space on Horford could not get open. The nice tip out by Tice. Oh, and the pass, Hayward was not looking for it at all. Smart did not take the open three. One of the weird times you'll see that from him. And then a three from Ennis, his second in a row. And Philly right back into it. Stevens is going to get a timeout here. Interesting that he would use it now instead of... I don't think this is an automatic for Boston. You basically get... If you want to go into the under two with 2 timeouts remaining, you basically get 1 free timeout over the course of the game that wouldn't be one of the ones that you have to take.
A quick score update. The only other game going on, Detroit 59, Cleveland 48. So their defense has probably been a little sluggish. I mean, they're giving up a lot of points to Detroit.
Yeah, for those who are wondering about the YouTube link, check Twitter. We have a second account. The cast was blocked last time we tried to do it, so switch to the other account.
And you can ask questions anywhere, and I do more of the question answering at halftime, but we will answer more questions then. And we'll see if Kemba Walker's, if that hand thing is going to become an issue. Get out of this timeout.
Is that why? Maybe that's why he called timeout, huh?
Oh, that could have been. Here, they're going to show it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't see much
because
there.
It looked like he kind of just had his hand in a fist. Yeah, it looks like his thumb got messed up, and he's, that looks like the reason they called timeout. Is he out now?
He is not in the game, from what I can tell.
Yeah, that's Braun up there at the top. Hayward switched onto almost a miscommunication, but they were able to figure it out. Tatum on the drive, double pumps, nice contest by Richardson, but Tice able to recover, a lucky recovery.
And the Sixers were ball watching Tatum instead of actually trying to find a man to box out.
Yeah, those missed layups. Feast or famine on those. It can be a fast break the other way, but it also opens up more offensive rebounding opportunities. Sixers looking for the 2-for-1. Tatum tries to get the steal again. Simmons taps it away, but right to Tatum, and now Hayward is going to have an easy layup. Gordon Hayward does not dunk as much as he used to before the injury.
He's tall. He doesn't need to.
So 4-second differential. Boston kind of got the 2-for-1. We'll see how late Philly is able to run it down, and if Boston can get a decent look in the other end. Tatum has really wreaked havoc at the nail in this game so far, especially when he's on some of their non-shooters. Here's Mike Scott. They do run the time down, and Boston will not, in fact, get their own shot. So that was pretty decent offense for Philly. You might say, hey, Mike Scott step back. Is that really that good? They should have gone earlier. But you also prevent Boston from getting a shot by taking that.
Right, and theoretically, if Philly had gotten the offensive rebound, they would have had enough chance to get something up. So it's halftime here, 55-48 in favor of the Boston Celtics. Leading scorer for the Celtics is a tie between Marcus Smart, 5 of 8, 2 of 3 from 3, and Kemba Walker, the star of the early going, and then dealing with what looks like a thumb issue, 13 points, 5-8 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 2 assists, 1 turnover.
This is a good one. This might require some more thinking here, but if you could create a new ubiquitous slash line to replace points, rebounds, and assists, what 3 stats would you choose? I mean, it's tough because are we talking about simply counting stats here?
Yeah, because my first thought was true shooting and usage.
Yeah, true shooting
and
usage,
like Seth's version of playmaking usage, ideally, or like
yeah. I mean, but sometimes I think those are a little complicated. Like the thing I like about traditional usage Hollinger, in the course of it, I think he actually invented it, and his included assists. But then your team usage averages more than 100%. I think this is a little easier to understand, and you can just look at the passing numbers elsewhere.
Mhm.
I don't mind assists, frankly. I
Yeah.
mean, like that's assists are,
Yeah, especially because there's
generally,
there's
yeah.
never been a great way that I've seen of combining those with like potential assists that it would be useful or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, because what are you trying to accomplish with the slash line? All right, tell me whether this guy had a good game or not.
Yeah.
Right? That's so. I mean, true shooting, usage. I mean, obviously, number of minutes is going to matter. I mean, that's kind of part of it too. Is like you want it to be a counting stat to some degree. So, I mean, maybe you could say points, shooting possessions. I think most people can like kind of do the math on that in their head, um, because true shooting and usage that doesn't
That doesn't
show
have
you
that
like
doesn't have a
you
scale.
could have played five
Yeah.
minutes, right?
Right.
Um, so maybe points, true shots, and assists. Eh. I mean, are we limited to only three? I guess we are, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's at least the concept of the question.
I mean, I wouldn't mind throwing plus minus in there too, frankly. Like I think, and that's not the be all end all. Like people still have to have a brain about it, right? Like that you can have a good game and still be negative and plus minus, but it does still kind of tell the story of how the team did when you're on the floor. And I think I'm not going to say that. I think more often than not, it's indicative of having had a decent game, especially when you say, okay, you were plus 20 and you also like did all this stuff offensively for your team. Like, pretty tough to have not had a good game in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's tell you the halftime line here in Celtics Sixers. Celtics are 5-point favorites. Negative 240 on the money line. Sixers are plus 185. The new game over under is now 215. You can get all the latest NBA odds and the best deals at bookies.com. And whether it's the best deals on legal sports betting, if it is legal in your area, of course, you have to be over, or I should say 21 or over for that. And you also get a ton of good betting information as well.
Yeah, and whether you're interested in betting spreads, money lines, totals, or parlays, you can get information not only on which wagers to make, but also on where to make those wagers, which is an incredibly important part of that. You can go to bookies.com/NBA for those live odds, and whatever you're looking for, they have it there.
All right, if you wouldn't mind taking a couple questions, I'm gonna
Yeah.
reload on T. You need anything?
Um. No, I think I'm good. I think my water's pretty full. I haven't had enough. Um. So Warner West asked, "Do you think that the Aminu and Isaac news suggests the Magic are giving up on the season?" If you saw me rapidly using my computer, that was to check what the Aminu and Isaac news is. From what I can tell from, I think it was Bobby Marks, it's that they are applying for disabled player exceptions. Disabled player exceptions are an indicator. Wow, I just put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Are an indicator that the team thinks the injuries are going to be bad, but you can apply for it even if you don't think you're going to get it. It's not a circumstance where there's an opportunity cost of, oh, you're going to get dinged or something for that. So maybe they're trying to create a little bit more value kind of out of thin air. Also, remember that the Magic have more space to work with than they might have expected early in the season, or than at least than I did, because Mozgov's money got cleared. So I think they have a little bit more breathing room under the tax. So maybe if one or both of those exceptions were granted, they would be able to do something with it. I don't think it means anything also about tanking the season, because there isn't really much that they can do to change it. I don't think they're going to trade their good players. I don't think they're going to start overplaying their young dudes. I think it's going to be the same basic story unless and until they're eliminated. And then maybe at that point. But that's always a good question to ask when somebody asks a tanking question. What the counter that they should always think of, and I will always throw back to them, is what does that look like? Because if you're not trading any of your guys and you're not playing your rotation differently, then you're not tanking. Do you think that Brett Brown deserves more blame for Markelle Fultz not doing well, specifically his refusal to run pick and roll when that is Fultz's bread and butter? Sort of. I mean, the Sixers, I've long thought that they should run more pick and roll than they do. But also remember that Fultz, one of his best attributes is pushing in transition, and Ben Simmons already does a lot of that. So they also, I think Fultz has been materially better this year than he looked last year. So comparing it and saying, oh, they should have done X, Y, and Z if Fultz wasn't this guy, I can kind of understand. So I think he deserves a small amount of the blame. But, I mean, the Sixers needed more flexibility. Remember that if they had Markelle Fultz on the books, they wouldn't have been able to get the entire collection of players that they got. I mean, they used space on Al Horford. They used, and that's a hugely beneficial thing. So I think that the Sixers made the correct decision, even if not every step of it was the right one. And it's working out better for Orlando than I expected, and that's fantastic. Yeah, thanks to the person who said check the tweets. If you're looking for YouTube, we're on a different channel, so just check the tweets there. From Daco Carter, are you too excited about young Memphis's potential? And does Dylan Brooks fit the core of John and Jaren? First question first. Yes, absolutely. I'm a believer in Jaren. He's disappointed me this year, but I'm still a believer in his skill. Ja's been great. I saw him in summer league, but I want to see him in person at some point again, just to get a sense of that athleticism on an NBA floor. Hopefully that gets to happen. I haven't checked the dates of when they are specific places. Dylan Brooks, yeah, I think he fits it fine. Brooks is, when things are moving well for him, I think that he can fit into it. But I've never felt that Brooks is, there's that level. I talked about this a little bit with the Washington Wizards in the 15 and 60 that just came out, about how sometimes teams don't look to replace players that are doing pretty well. And I think for the Grizzlies, they owe it to themselves to go best available outside of Ja and Jaren. And even then, if the center's the stud, then you kind of go after it. So with Dylan Brooks, I think he can fit, but I don't think he's a mandatory part. What is the most impressive amount of food Nate has consumed in one sitting? I mean, the Caesars buffet is pretty much always up there, and Nate has done some really ridiculous performances there. Sometimes we count it in terms of plates, and I think he's high single digits, maybe low double digits in plates. I think I've been around that level before. The time I quote unquote beat him, Nate claims, and he was sick, and that made the difference. But yeah, I mean, he can eat hilarious amounts of food. We had a lot of food last night at a wonderful place in San Francisco after the game. What do you think of the recent news out of Brooklyn on Kyrie Irving potentially returning next week? I'm thrilled. The Nets had become, over the course of last season, over the last few weeks, had become a frustrating watch for me. We talked about this a little bit in the Dunked On that will air tonight about that Knicks game, which was maybe the most angry I got watching a basketball game so far this season. And Kyrie changes those dynamics. He's exciting to watch, and that would hopefully mean that his injury is not as severe as we feared, so that is also a good thing. Now, the concern is that he comes back and still needs to get the surgery, and then you're delaying that and everything else, and that would be bad. I think that if you need to get the surgery, you should do it now. But other than that, good. Has the Melo addition helped the Blazers? I would say so. Probably less than let's call it the casual fan would think, just because, incidentally, almost exactly like a young guy, the great performances get amplified and everything other than that gets less attention. But remember where the Blazers forward rotation was. They just had a bunch of guys that weren't good and a bunch of guys that were hurt. And Melo has been, like especially like you could think about that Raptors game. Like there have been games where he has been a material positive. And so yeah, it's the whole package isn't those 28-point games or anything like that. But I think that considering the horrible situation they were in, yeah, I think he's helped. But I don't think he's helped like that much. I don't think he's changed the game or anything like that. But I think he's helped. I would be interested in some of the. I haven't looked at like PIPM or any of that kind of stuff with him, but I'd say overall, I'm not saying he's going to be positive in PIPM or something like that necessarily, or RPM, but yeah. And as Glenn Simonson said, and I think this is a fair point, it has mostly exposed Olshey's rotation construction problems. Yes, I would say that is another thing that the Melo situation has done. And it's also one of the downsides of having so many of your resources in terms of young players who aren't yet ready to play at similar positions. Like Nasir Little has been pushed into things a little bit more. But, having Simons and Gary Trent and Nasir Little and Zach Collins as a 5, like not really having any true forwards in that group makes it harder for any, because you're locking up all those roster spots to have somebody really step into a larger role.
All right, let's lock back in on this game. Take a look at the shot distributions. Sixers have not been able to convert at the rim 6 out of 14. The 14 is a pretty decent number against a good Celtics defense. And 12 mid-rangers, 2s away from the restricted area. They are 6 out of 12 on those. So they're generally shooting the ball pretty well here. What's been killing them? The turnovers?
Well, I mean, that and the fact their offensive rating is really high, or unless my stats.
Yeah, it's been a slower pace than modern games. That's
I think
your biggest issue.
And then for the Celtics, 7 to 13 in the restricted area, 4 of 9 from floater range, 2 of 5 from 3, and then something interesting: Celtics have taken 23 pointers. Only one of those 20 was a corner 3. I believe that was the one that Grant Williams missed, and that's a pretty striking thing. But remember the shots that Philadelphia was conceding early in this game.
Why does Nate hate answering questions? That is not the case. I just need a break from talking for 3 consecutive hours during halftime, because I do most of the talking during the game action, and it's just hard to do it for 3 consecutive hours. Like we go on during the commercials the entire time. Like there's a reason why on the TV broadcast they get a 3-minute break every commercial. We don't do that. So no, it's just like it gets tough to talk for 2.5 hours. I didn't like grow up doing this, so hopefully you guys aren't offended that I take a 5-minute break during halftime sometimes.
And interestingly, considering some of their misses, the Sixers have assisted on 11 of their 18 made baskets, which is actually a higher rate than the Celtics, which are 10 out of 21. Half is fine, but I mean, being over half is generally good. I mean, it depends on what the structure of your opportunities, but I wouldn't have expected that necessarily.
Yes, Celtics 7 of 13 at the rim themselves, 6 of 14 on 2s away from the restricted area, and so pretty similar shot distributions for these teams. Just a few more 3-pointers has really been the difference. 8 out of 20 versus 6 out of 16 for the Sixers, but both teams right around 40%. So pretty even game here so far in terms of the shot distribution. Turnovers are relatively even, 7 to 6. It's just a couple more threes, little more 3-point volume for the Celtics.
Kemba Walker, per Tim Bontemps, has a left thumb sprain and is available to return. He has some tape on his left hand. He caught it trying to set a screen in the first half. And a small piece of injury news, not for today, but for tomorrow, Paul George is out in the game against the Warriors with a left hamstring strain.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't he had a hamstring issue like a couple weeks ago, right?
I think so, yeah.
I
don't know if it's the same leg.
Who knows, man? I mean, the Clippers could just be totally BSing on some of these injuries at this point, too.
But who would dare do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to some of their guys at the showcase, and I was like, hey, all like load management, like the Reporters in LA are up in arms because Kawhi Leonard takes like an hour and a half after each game to speak to the media. And I was like, hey, if I were you guys, I would be handling it the exact same way. Just keep Kawhi happy. This media stuff doesn't matter. If the league finds you, who cares? This load management, people complain, who cares? Like, you're trying to win a championship. Keep these guys happy and be good in April. I would handle the exact same way as they are, even if it is annoying in a lot of ways to outsiders. All right, we return to action here with Gordon Hayward, still guarded by Tobias Harris. Brown slips the screen. Hayward missed him, but that was really a dummy action. Now, again, they tried to have Tice engage Horford, and he did it just enough on that pick and roll to enable Hayward to get the short jumper. Trying to get Richardson out of the corner, guarded by Walker. They milked this matchup early. Pick and pop for Horford. Yes! Horford with the high release over the smaller Walker. And as the only 6-footer on the floor, Walker is going to be targeted, especially when it's the starters versus starters, as you like to say. Similar action this time. He does give it to Brown. Right back to the pick and roll. Harris fighting to get back in front. And so that's really interesting there. Yeah, are they going to give Tice the offensive foul?
No,
here?
I think he lost the ball.
Let's see. No, I think pretty sure that's I couldn't see it. It was blocked off. Maybe it was just a turnover by Hayward. Richardson. Walker goes under the screen, engages Tice, does Richardson, but misses the fadeaway. Hayward looking to push it. Nice pick and roll, but the pass is too high for Tice. Robert Williams could have got that. Here's the alley-oop on the other end, and the Sixers show him how it's done.
And so now, I mean, considering Boston had that comfortable lead early in the first half, now it's only a 4-point margin.
Walker, he had that 13 in the first. He failed to score, I think, in the second, right?
I think you're right, yeah.
Tatum, switched onto by Horford. Late clock, he's going to have to go to the step back here to his right. That's off. Nice rebound from Harris. That's a valuable defensive rebound in between three guys. Harris looking to push it, going at Tice. And Tice with the stop. No, they're going to get a goaltend here. See if Stevens goes for a challenge on this. It would lead to a jump ball, I believe. Although
Challenge it!
The Celtics clearly got the ball afterwards. Oh, no, actually, the Sixers clearly got the ball afterwards, but he's not going to challenge. Couldn't get a great look at whether that was a good block or not. Walker splitting it again, right past Horford. Oh, but Horford caught up to him. Nice block there. Simmons pushing it right down. Finds the three for Richardson. Nice tip by Scott.
And Scott did two really good things there. One, he kept running on the lane, and that helped force the Celtics to make choices, and then he got in there for the tip.
Yeah, and this is really good work by him because he runs the lane, spaces out to the corner, and then gets right back in for the offensive rebound. Again, good effort. Here's Walker, mid-ranger. He really pulled back quite a bit, though. I think he was worried about the contest from Horford. Now Simmons, I don't know why they ran that screen. They could have just had Simmons go right at Walker. Instead, Simmons with the awkward reverse against Brown. 5-on-4 for the Celtics. Brown spin, attacks, another missed layup. That's 4 missed layups for Jaylen Brown. Harris going at Tice again, and I think he tried to yoke it, and it just curled in. He's laughing about it. That's clearly what happened. Yeah, let's take a look at this again. He did not want to go for the layup that time.
I think Tice blocked it.
So this is like, yeah, he did block it. It's kind of not exactly the unstoppable force against the immovable object at the rim that time. But and that was, I don't think that was what Tice was trying to do. But Alonzo Mourning used to block shots this way. His thought was, and obviously he got dunked on playing his career, but he also was an unbelievable shot blocker. That his thought was, if you're going to try and dunk on me, I'm going to try and block you 1 inch in front of the rim. Because, yeah, you might get up way above me. If I try to meet you at the top of your jump and block it, you can go over me, or I might just miss you. But I know where you have to go if you're going to dunk it. And so if I just put my hand right in front of the rim, then you have to bring the ball to me and I can block you.
Somebody asked, should isolation creators like Kawhi get credited for an individual assist since he's creating his own basket? No, that's what all the other stuff is for. That's not an assist. An assist is a pass that creates a basket, creating your own score to something else. And it's measured by a lot of other things. Somebody asked if you have ever been higher on a rookie than you are on John Morant. I know the answer to that.
Oh, of whether I've ever been higher on a rookie?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm higher on Zion as
Yeah.
of right now. Who else would you have said I was higher on?
Luka.
I mean,
Not at this point, but you were higher on Luka late last year than you are on Ja right now.
ooh, that's tough. Yeah, I mean, I think especially because Luke's a year younger than Ja too, so or at least 6 months younger than him. Yeah, I'd have to say I was higher on Luca. I might.
I mean, if
I might have
we're
said I was higher on Towns at the time.
if
too,
we're yeah,
because we thought Towns would actually be good defensively at this point in time.
mm-hmm.
That was not correct. And don't worry, Garth. I did not take it personally. I was just explaining myself.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of those Kentucky bigs. Did any of them match our expectations defensively? Like Willie Cauley-Stein definitely didn't.
I still think he hasn't been used right.
AD hasn't, but part of the AD thing. I mean, he is a little bit now.
I mean, you're gonna say, is that fair to him?
I thought he had Defensive Player of the Year talent when he came out,
I mean,
and I still think he
was-
does.
I mean, he was playing with like a 6'4" guy as the three next to him and Ryan Anderson next to him his entire career, and Omer Ashik basically was like hurt from the moment he joined the Pelicans. So, I mean, I think he's met expectations defensively, I would say. Oh man, Ashlyn is cooking something really good right now. I can smell it.
I've noticed.
I don't
the
even
last
know what
few
it is. I don't know what we even have in the house. She must have just got something from Whole Foods that she's cooking right now. We'll see if our sideline reporter can get an update there. But yeah, that is wafting through the entire house, and it smells great. I'm so hungry right now too. All right, we're back here. Man, they don't mess around with coming back here. So 11-0 run for Philly. They're trying to get Walker involved once again. Richardson has done a better job on him. Horford out on the floor on him as well. And so this, Danny, is a little bit different from what their initial strategy was. Their initial strategy was Horford's going to hang back in the lane, and we're going to let Walker shoot the three, trust a rear view contest. He beat that strategy early. And now we're seeing Horford get on the floor, force him to drive, and contesting him from behind at the rim. He had a block on that, and Walker wasn't going anywhere on that play either. There's Smart with the pass. Walker forced inside the arc again, and he does hit finally.
And that was more of a fade back, I think, because Tice was rolling pretty hard.
Yeah, so I mean, they may even be switching it up because Horford was hanging back a little bit more on that long two that Walker missed earlier. And there's Harris stepping out for a three off a screen. Al Horford, always an excellent screener. Tatum, similar action for the Celtics to what the Sixers just ran. Ben Simmons getting through it. Tatum, wrong foots him, tries to go up over Horford and leaves the offensive glass exposed for Tice to tip in. It was Harris who was unable to get inside of Tice for the rebound. Same play again for the Sixers. Smart gets through this time. They're just going to double Harris. He backs away. He's in trouble. Gets it to Scott on the release. Nice tip away from Hayward as well. Finally, they get it under to Simmons, though. And that shows you, I mean, they could not get back quickly enough. It seemed like the Sixers were really in trouble, but it took a while for Boston to get back to Simmons underneath. Tatum finds the rolling Tice, and that time Harris did a really nice job off of Smart coming in to tip it away from Tice. Scott's three, he's been quiet, no longer. Left wing three, and Philly, all of a sudden, 6-point advantage. Boston, struggle session here for them.
Yeah,
I guess I should save that for a Lakers game.
This is a 19-6 third quarter in favor of Philadelphia.
Walker on the step back against Horford again, and that's the shot that's going to be available to him. Horford, once he forces him inside the arc, he's committed to trying to meet him at the rim, and so Walker just stops on a dime. He's one of the best stoppers in the NBA once he gets his momentum going forward. Back screen for Simmons trying to post up. Walker tips it away. The pass went awry.
It was way too low.
Tatum faking the DHO. He's going one-on-one against his old teammate. Swings it. Now Walker guarded by Simmons. Smart wants it back. They want to go back to Tatum with 10 on the clock. Plenty of time. Help comes from Scott. Tatum off balance. Way off balance. And they're going to get the walk.
Tatum so far in this game, 8 points, 6 of 8 from the field, missed both of his threes, 4 of 4 from the line.
Wait, no, he's not 6 of 8 from the field if he's...
No, 2 of 8. No, he's 2 of 8.
Oh, 2 of 8, okay.
Yeah.
6, 2, thugs, slugs, all means the same thing.
All the same.
Harris trying to post Hayward, shoots over him, and right there, Danny, you see the lack of length from Gordon Hayward, where he has the contest, he's in good position, and 2 or 3 more inches of standing reach there from Hayward, and he contests that shot extremely well. Smart waves away Tice. They want to swing it. Screen by Hayward for Tatum. Does not look to take the 3. Instead, loses it. Now it's Hayward's 3, and well contested again. These late contests for the Sixers seem to be throwing Hayward off just a little bit. Harris guarded by Smart. Post up Scott against Walker. Help has to come here. Too late, but the miss anyway. Walker looking to push it. He's got Scott on the other end. Crosses him up. Corner for Tatum. His 3. Yes. So Kemba Walker posted up by Mike Scott in the mismatch. Scott can't convert. Transition the other way. Walker beats Scott. Sets up the corner 3.
Yeah, and that, I believe, was Jason Tatum's first really clean look from 3. Out, non-dribbling, and nailed it.
Yeah, again, they're trying to keep Harris out of the middle here. Now they force him back to the middle. You could see the communication. They switch up the coverage. Hayward with the veer back on Horford knocks away the drop pass. Richardson almost had a steal. Instead, it's Walker wide open for a corner 3, and Boston now has tied it with 2 transition corner 3s, and Brett Brown needs time.
And you look at the quality of these shots that Boston is getting compared to other moments where it was like those contested 2s, and the Kemba pull-ups have looked good, and then those wide open corner 3s the last 2 possessions.
So how's our guy Stroutman doing here with Boston plus 1.5? I guess he's in the black right now.
And then Detroit Cleveland is 71-62. I think that is bending towards the over. I could actually do the math on it, but I'll let our friends at bookies.com do that for us.
I'm really enjoying actually just turning Mark Stroutman, who I've never met before, by the way. It seems like a good guy, but I'm enjoying turning him into like this mythical figure now. Mm-hmm. I almost like don't want to meet him now. I just want to it's like keep building him up in my mind.
It's also fun. I mean, Nate and I have been interested in this for a while because we have knowledge about the sport, but we don't know how necessarily to convert that into gambling advice. And the people at bookies.com, not only do they do that with experts like Mr. Straubman, they do it with our stuff, which I think is pretty cool. And you can check that out. One way is by going to bookies.com. Another way is by following them at bookies on Twitter. You can find everything there. We try to retweet it when we can too. But bookies.com/NBA for live NBA odds. So if you have a bet that you want to do, you want to find the best place to place that wager that is legal. And then you can also find out expert picks and the best online sign-up deals anywhere on the internet. So you can find all of that at bookies.com or bookies.com/NBA.
Yeah, or follow them at bookies on Twitter. Celtics need to bring Cantor back. Yeah, they were effective with him. I think they're just concerned about him guarding either Horford or Scott.
Yeah, and the Sixers have been more aggressively getting Horford three-pointers and making... The trick with Cantor is to make him defend in space and make decisions defensively, and guarding Horford largely forces both those because of how often he's involved in actions.
Daco Carter asked, I want to hear your take on Coach Beeline and Thuggate. We talk about it on Dunked On. Don't really need to get into it here too much. That's going to come out probably around 9 or so tonight. And also, I talked about it pretty extensively on Tom Habershaw's podcast, which is coming out tomorrow morning. He and I recorded that this morning. So, what site do you use for NBA scores? So this is actually a pretty awesome site. What is the name of that plugin on Chrome? It's
what
ESPN Enhanced NBA Box Score, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So it gives you like a little window among like all your other apps in Chrome. You can click on that and just see all the scores right there, and then you click on the game and it gives you advanced stats real quickly.
And it splits it side by side as opposed to having it top and bottom, so it's
Yeah.
easier. It's easier to kind of see everything at once. Yeah, I use that, and then use
And
different.
I mean, RT Hoops is great too for like live in game when you're focused in on
yeah, for us for
specific
advanced
game.
stats. Yeah.
Who's a player with a good and ugly release? Well, Reggie Miller is the classic guy. Jamal Wilkes. By the way, all these people who are like
Kevin Martin.
Yeah, all these people were like, "Oh man, players had so much better fundamentals back in the day." Like, as there's a nice alley oop, they left the open backside pick and roll out of the ATO, and no one was there to take care of Pell. And I think Brad Stevens is bringing in Enes Kanter right now. He is definitely trying to match up the non-shooting centers with Kanter exclusively.
So are you saying you can't play him against shooting centers?
Possibly.
And that was another open corner 3 for the Celtics.
Miss from Thibault as they got back quickly. Boston finding their rhythm offensively now. They go under on Tatum. His 3 not there. Now it's Harris, pick and roll. Marcus Smart stepping up. They deal with the Spain action well. Try to lob it in. That's a great pass from Thibault, not known for his vision. And Semi Ojeleye, Simmons got inside position on him and was able to use his body to shield him away. Beautiful play from the Sixers. Walker attacks Pell, gets into his body, but no foul is called. He had to just throw it up. I think he was looking for the call. Thibault going at Tatum, misses it, bounces right back. You see the explosiveness of Thibault to bounce right back up there. But couldn't convert. Tatum gets Pell in the air, but didn't shoot the shot. Now he's going to go to the ISO game. In the post, though, tries to get him in the air, fades. Great defense again. And no, they're going to give him a foul. Tatum's saying he got him on the forearm, and that seems like it has happened.
Yeah, and again, I harp on this. Maybe it's me being 5'11", that it's like, if you're tall, use your size. Norvel Pell did exactly what he needed there. He didn't need to swing down at all. He did a nice job. Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they called here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, they got the free throw. It was just the way they were shooting that the way they were showing the camera angles made it seem like it wasn't free throws.
What are some differences between NBA basketball and Euro basketball? And the number one thing is just the absence of superstars. To me, that's and you don't run everything through one player, like, because you've got players 300 through 600 in the world playing, that there aren't really any big stars. So those guys, it's better to just play guys shorter minutes. Individual players don't have as much of an advantage. You see the usage gets spread out a lot more. Here's Thibault off the pass from Harris. Simmons, they did a good job not guarding him that time. He's going to go one-on-one against Ojeleye. Late clock. Has to go back over his left shoulder. Nice move. He's moved Ojeleye a couple of times here. The brick shithouse foundation could be cracking. Hand off to Brown. And you could tell that's really interesting. You see the way Brown was dribbling, Danny? He is so wary of Thibault's ability to block shots from behind. It was totally in his head. Turning into a mid-range jumper contest here. Tatum against Thibault. Into the lane. Scoops with the left. I thought he was going to make that, but again, Pell forced to miss. And then
what was Ben Simmons doing there?
What he was doing was getting back for an unbelievable play to make up for the error. And now the alley-oop to Pell is off, but he rebounds and puts it away.
And Enes Kanter nearly compounded that with a foul, but he swung so badly he missed Norvel Pell.
Yeah, and Pell, he's doing really just a nice job of trusting his length. This is something we talked about as there's a three from Smart. They go under on him to tie it. Action is picking up here late in the third. Of just you don't have to block every shot at the rim. If you're just there and you make the guy rush it, he still can miss it. Harris, Smart just blows up that DHO. No advantage gain there. Gets through the screen again. Tough fader from Harris is off. Cantor on the box out. No, Thibault swings in. Here's Ennis's three. Can he make a third? No, that's way off. So Boston now 54 left. Maybe they can run it down enough for the 2-for-1. We'll see. Elbow for Smart. Back screen for Tatum. His three. They do not go to set up the 2-for-1. Now Philly, if they hustle, can get theirs, but they're not hustling. Now Harris maybe realizes it. Yeah, he feels it. And that's bad recognition from Ojale. I know he missed that shot, but you got to know with the timing situation, he's looking to take that, even if it's semi-contested, press up a little bit more. 4-second differential for the Celtics. They don't know what they're running. Ojale with his hands out. Finally, it's spread pick and roll for Smart and Cantor. Smart with the three off the dribble. Oh, baby. Man, if Marcus Smart can make that shot, Danny.
I think he's 4 of 5 now.
Simmons. Did Harris get it off? Doesn't matter.
Harris hopes that it didn't count because then that air ball won't go on his chart. Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker have combined for 42 points for the Celtics. They're the two guys who are doing a lot of running the offense. Kemba Walker, 9 of 15 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3. Marcus Smart, 7 of 10 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. Celtics overall, 13 of 29 from long distance. The Sixers, 9 of 24. 9 of 24 is nothing to shake a stick at, but it's not 13 of 29.
Yeah, so a relatively slow pace to this one. I actually sped up a little bit in that quarter, so this has been a slightly below average offensive game overall, 80 to 77 on 73 possessions. So 109.6 and 105.5 offensive ratings. You can see at the bottom of your screen, courtesy of RT Hoops. Oh, I wanted to crowdsource this while we have you guys here. This might make the NBA cast a little bit worse, but it might make Dunked On better. I thought of this idea, this is the first time we talked about it in person, of potentially doing a podcast of a running diary throughout the game, where every break we sort of just give like, okay, here's what happened over the last 5 minutes and some things that have stuck out to us as the game is evolving, so that then when you listen to it, it's got, especially if it's a game you missed, you can kind of almost see how the game was evolving in real time in our minds as well, and we can kind of summarize it for you in audio fashion. It would probably be 15 minutes of audio total, you would think. I mean, we wouldn't do it every commercial, but if we had something. So interested to see if you guys think that would be worth listening to. I don't know how good it would be. We would have to try it. It would mean that we wouldn't necessarily be doing as many questions during the break, so that's why it might not be what people in the NBA cast wanted to hear as much. We could also just do it on times when we weren't doing the NBA cast as well, but you would probably have to come over to do that, I think. I don't know. Or we would have just like 10 separate audio files that we had to stitch together later.
Yeah, both are possibilities.
I mean, I guess we could just both be like watching the game, put our microphones on mute, and then just like truncate out the silences at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a thought too. So I don't know. It would be a lot of work, but I think it'd be like kind of fun to try it, like just an audio version of Bill Simmons' old running diaries.
Should Ben Simmons look to back down opponents in fast break and transition situations a la Russell Westbrook? Yeah. I mean, when the opportunity presents itself, Ben Simmons is a whole hell of a lot bigger than Russ is, and while Russ is strong for his size, I think that could go well. But I also think that Simmons can do, I mean, he can just get downhill and not do the back down and get into good position too.
All right, what are we looking for here in the fourth quarter?
The quality of shots for Boston. I mean, they had some real struggles there, especially in the second quarter and then at the beginning of the third when Philly went on that big run. But then they were getting open shots pretty consistently at the end of the third quarter, which helped bring this game back to a 3-point Celtics lead.
Yeah, I want to see the Celtics 3-pointers, which they've been hitting well. Is that going to continue? Maybe not. And they're also only 8 out of 19 at the rim. Horford and Pell have been really fantastic in that regard. So forcing a lot of these misses. But the Celtics have ganked a few, smoked a few layups in the NBA parlance. Richardson switched onto by Cantor. Oh, he missed Pell cutting to the rim. Still 10 on the clock, though. The great job by the Celtics switching back. They go under on Richardson. Now he's going to work his way into the open mid-ranger. Nice ball handling there by Richardson to recognize that they were going under. Just worked into his spot and got the clear look. Here's Cantor posting up on Pell. I think he's got the size advantage here. And yeah, I mean, he knocked him backwards.
That was goaltend.
But you see the separation that Cantor is able to create going into the body. And obviously strength is a weakness for Norville. Yeah, and that
on the way down. Right
down.
Call.
Good call. Challenge! Challenge! I gotta say that once a day. Now Richardson gets past Smart. Actually draws the foul. He didn't really use a screen. Instead, he just went right at him. That's a good move against a good defender.
And to follow up on something I talked about early in the show, Marcus Smart picked up 2 early fouls, and Brad Stevens kept him in the game. That was Marcus Smart's third. That's why you keep a guy in the game.
Especially a guard.
Yeah, and a guard who comes off the bench.
Yeah, if it's Nikola Jokic, I understand it a little more. Trey Burke is back in. They go back to Richardson, though, against Smart. They like this matchup, apparently. Richardson, beautiful jump stop in the lane, avoiding the travel to have his feet come down at the same time, twisting his body off the jump stop for the hook. Celtics looking that same cross screen for Cantor. They're going to let him go right to work. Let's see if a double team comes this time. No, it doesn't. Cantor just right into. Oh, that time Pell got him. And I thought Cantor, I mean, he probably just felt like, oh, I went to the hook last time. I should do something different. He had the right-handed hook again. Going over his right shoulder with the right hand, right into the shot block of Pell. And then right back on the other end, Cantor cannot disrupt the jumper of Richardson. He's got 6 straight points here.
Yeah, on 3 jumpers. And remember, Josh Richardson started this game out molten on his jumper too.
So Grant Williams is going to come check in. We'll see if he's going to get Cantor now. Hayward, tough fader over Richardson is off. That's the offensive rebound by Cantor. Right back up, tried to dunk it. Pell disrupted him once more. 1 point Philly lead, looking to build on that. Pell looking a little tired right now. Now it's Trey Burke working in the mid-range. Quick release by Korkmaz. Love that. He catches it at his chest. No dip. Gets it off over Marcus Smart, and Philly up by 4.
Yeah, and Smart was keeping an eye on the help. Wasn't quite close enough, and that's why the quick release mattered so much, because Smart would have been there in a beat later.
Now Smart feeling himself.
Wow!
Another off the dribble 3-pointer. I mean, that's not some wide open shot here. I mean, again, Marcus, he deserves so much credit for how he's improved his shooting. Now he's trying to keep Richardson out of the middle. They don't go under this time. Richardson snaking it. Alley-oop, a little too high for Pell that time. Right thought, but just a little bit too high. Here's Hayward underneath. Oh, nice deflection by Korkmaz, and he saved an easy layup. Yeah, I think Cantor not really that great with the left hand. Remember, it was that left shoulder that he injured in the playoffs last year, but never had a great left hand anyway. But a lefty jump hook from short range there as Pell gets a nice hand from the Philly faithful, deservedly so. Here's Brown, switched onto by Horford, and they're going to get him for a walk. So that's what my dad always used to say. He walked. That's like a solid, like, old man complaint about traveling.
And considering what we've talked about, the possession battle is actually pretty close to even. 11-12 in turnovers and 7-8 in offensive rebounds.
Elbow for Horford, good position. They've got Williams at center. He did indeed replace Cantor. Richardson has had it working. They're just going to switch this now. He'll go at Ojale. Stepping back, has to pick up his dribbles, forces up a shot looking for the foul. Horford cannot get it off in time, and great defense there. This switching up to do some switching worked out great there.
Yeah, and Ojale did a great job of getting into Richardson's space, but not committing any semblance of a foul. And just got in there, made it harder for Richardson to get a clean look.
So this group for the Celtics, Smart is your smallest guy. He's going to jack another one. That one wasn't close. That could have given the Celtics the lead. Burke going at Ojale, and Ojale will be called for the foul here. That's a situation where you're in a really tough position. Transition can really help you as a smaller player because the pick is coming. Most teams force those side pick and rolls towards the baseline, but because it's transition, your big is not necessarily there yet, and so you can get beat baseline a lot if you start thinking you're going to let him go baseline. Here's a deep post up from Horford, and Grant Williams getting called for the wrap, trying to prevent that. So they know that they're switching now, and we'll see whether they can attack that a little bit better. Horford with the size advantage on Williams. Post up again. Horford with the lefty tip back.
Beautiful.
And then the dunk. And Grant Williams, it has been a massive struggle for him, Danny. I mean, he does not help out. Everyone's so worried about Horford posting up on him that there's just nobody there when Richardson drove. Tough step back from Hayward. He has not had it. There's Williams with a big rebound, though. He beasted Korkmaz and Mike Scott. Good to see Williams do something positive after his struggles. I kind of like Ojale on Horford over Williams, personally. Horford, he traveled. Yeah, they're going to call that. That time he really did walk. He just took like 2 steps.
Yeah, and we'll see if, they've relied so much, Philly, in this quarter on Josh Richardson jump shots. If that well runs dry, where else can they go for offense?
Walker is back. Josh Richardson still has the matchup on him. Hayward, nice move to push off Korkmaz. That should have been a foul on Korkmaz. No call underneath. But Philly able to recover. Williams looking to hand off. He's got Brown. Brown going at Horford. Let's see if he can finish. Nope.
Oof.
Horford has looked good tonight, huh?
He has. Those recovery ones on Kemba and then that play.
Because, there were plays where he was really getting traffic coned on those as Richardson misses the 3 way long. But now recovery by Burke throws it in. Scott, he'll get it off. Not there, though. And now the Celtics able to push it 3-on-2. Ojale in the corner. That's not the shot you wanted there on the 3-on-2. That's one where all the old guys, and of course that missed fast break leads to another 3. That's one where all the old guys would have had a point of like, hey, if you just go in for a layup, that's better than going to the 3-point line if you're semi-Ojale. Walker off the Williams screen. Good contest. But no, they're going to get... What's going to happen here? Timeout before they went? Yeah. All right. Very much sound and fury signifying nothing. So 6:28 left. 4-point game. You think is Stratman sweating this one out, Danny?
He might be. And then Detroit, Cleveland. I think that over is looking pretty good. Score update: Detroit up 88-85 in Detroit over the Cavs with 8:38 to go. Minnesota up 9 on Portland with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Stop me if you heard this before. Karl Anthony Towns is not playing.
Minnesota, without him recently, has been playing like shockingly well.
They have. And some of that is schedule based, but they've also beaten some teams.
Yeah. Yeah, Andre Drummond in that Pistons game, 26-19 with 8:16 remaining in the fourth. He's done it in 36 minutes. He's played 36 minutes. That would put him at only rested for 4 minutes so far.
Some people had the idea that we could watch the game separately, and so then we wouldn't be like kind of getting it from each other. That would be interesting, but conversations really bring it out. I mean, monologue wouldn't be the most fun thing in the world.
Well, and we just repeat each other.
Yeah. That's
what
true
each
too.
person said. I mean, if we had someone who's really going to edit it, that'd be one thing. But that is not in the budget, and we're trying to get this stuff out quickly, so it's not going to happen. What do I do when you are ahead of me in time? This is a question on Periscope. You switch to YouTube, which is tweeted out at Nate Duncan NBA, and then you can pause the stream and allow yourself to catch up.
Oh, something we haven't mentioned in this, you can still support us. Patreon.com/Duncan LaRue. We do subscriber-only content. We are doing mailbag podcasts. We did a special gamer podcast, which was a first time for Patreon in the month of December. It was fun. And we have all of that stuff for you. And salary cap sheets, we often do kind of like write-ups of ranking pieces. So people who wonder about that, you can get that. Ben does a great job there. So patreon.com/Duncan LaRue, great way to support all of the stuff that we do.
Thoughts on the Russell Simmons swap? I just don't see Russell. He just has too many weaknesses to compete at the highest levels for me. As much as Ben Simmons has some weaknesses also, at least like physically and competitively, I think he's proven that he can be a good player in the playoffs, and Russell less so.
Yeah, and when you think about Russell's deficiencies on defense, then you throw in that offensively, I think when we saw this in the playoffs last year, when you put him against elite talent, the offense wanes down, gets worse, and the defense is worse too. So yeah, I'm less sold on him there. And so that's also why I'm more okay with Russell at a place like Minnesota, where they don't necessarily have that same ceiling, and then somewhere like Philly, where we know what they're competing for.
What would you do if you were in charge of the NBA award show? Well, I would have it be a lead-in to the final of the play-in tournament for the playoffs. All right, we're back here, and I think we're going to get a hold on Horford, trying to prevent Hayward from getting the ball. Now, I think it's been interesting, Danny. Brown, Hayward, Tatum, even without Embiid, none of them have really looked comfortable in this game. Like, it looks like there's just the athleticism of the Sixers. Wow, Tatum, yeah, that's got to be an offensive foul. He just blew up Korkmaz for no real reason. But matched up against Richardson, Simmons, even Tobias Harris, they're just usually on pretty much any night, one of those guys is going to have a size or athleticism advantage. And against Philly, none of them have. And I think they've just all looked a little bit rushed and uncomfortable. Whether it's Bron's finishing the mid-rangers from Hayward or Tatum not really being able to get to a shot as openly. Here's Horford, wrong footing Tyson, goes right in. Not known for his left hand, but against Tice, he didn't need it. And interesting that they're going to this now for the first time. But I think Horford, I mean, we've seen Tice is not a good post defender against Embiid. I think even Horford can move him. He is, and that's just pretty weak defense. Against Philly, it'd be nice if you could find some help there, I think. But rare that Horford will drive left. He wrong-footed Tice to get himself in a position.
Might be a former teammate knowing your tendencies and trying to use that against
Yeah,
them.
I mean, how many times has he just kind of like busted him in like a post-up drill or something like that? All right, 7-point game here. It's rapidly getting away from Boston. Here's Walker. He's trying to do something about that with a three. Oh, they could have really used that one. Instead, it's Korkmaz to the loose ball. Oh, Simmons is there. The oop. Oh, just a little short. He missed the bounce pass to him. That was the right pass, and then it was behind him, and now Walker's going to get fouled, and he'll hit. So that
What a swing.
That could have almost ended the game. Up 9 with under 6 minutes left, and now Boston with a chance to draw within 4. That run by Simmons, too, was breathtaking. I mean, he beat everybody down the floor, and Korkmaz just didn't see him until it was too late.
And I believe that's Kemba Walker's 27th point of this game. 26. 10 of 17 from the field, 3 assists, 5 of 9 from 3.
They go under on Simmons. Now switch Walker onto him. Simmons going to try and post up. They don't look for him. Instead, it's that mid-ranger from Richardson. Inside position from Horford. Stopped that time by Tim. That's where the lack of the left hand came back to hurt Horford. He had an easy one. And there's Hayward with the back door. Celtics show him how the bounce pass and transition is done. And they've drawn within 2. Timeout. Brett Brown. He still has 2 to burn. We're going to see a lot of timeouts here before the 3-minute mark because he still has another one he can burn before then.
Get your questions in. Going through different. Fair point from Bricklayer Joe. It would suck if you wanted to do the diary thing and the game ended up being a total dud. Yeah, there's a distinct possibility. Happens with the NBA cast as well. There's always that possibility. But, I think it'd be an interesting experience all the same.
Did Philly go from some of the worst depth at the 5 to one of the best with Horford, Pell, and Kyle O'Quinn? Yeah, I guess so. Although, Horford hasn't had an unbelievable time of it. And the party line was they were going to try to avoid playing Horford at center so much. And they haven't really done that when both he and Embiid have been healthy. But yeah, I think Pell can give him something. Now, they're going to need to convert Pell so he can actually play more games now.
Oh, so that's an interesting note from a couple people from Himmelsbach and Pontemps. The Sixers are in the bonus, so they'll be shooting free throws the rest of the way, but they've only committed 2 fouls, so Boston will not be shooting as many free throws. And considering I think Philly's offense has been slowing down a little bit, that could end up being a huge difference.
Solid work here from Bontemps, Jay King, and Rich Hoffman, all tweeting about what so do you like this phrasing? So Hoffman called it a killer swing with the missed alley-oop. Jay King called it a critical swing. And Bontemps a huge swing. Of those 3, who did it best?
Critical swing.
Who wore it best?
Critical swing is my favorite.
Yeah, well, killer swing is like that's like a very Hoffman.
Killer swing when we're ahead in the game and are still ahead in the game feels a little bit strong.
Yeah, that's true. It's because killer would imply that like now they are killed.
Yes.
And yet they have not been yet. So yeah. Well, and King, he also said it could be a critical swing.
Oh, don't hedge it. even though that is more accurate.
Even though there's absolutely no way of knowing. Don't hedge this thing that no one can know for certain at this point in time.
That's why tweets get automatically deleted when a game ends. From Cody Wilson, are there any crazy young defensive talents like Thibault and Pell kicking around on benches around the league? I mean,
Briante Weber used to maybe be that guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, does Shaq Harrison still count? He's not young anymore, but I mean,
yeah. No, he's probably up there. I mean, I still think that, I wouldn't call Pell a crazy defensive talent.
I wouldn't either. I would say Thibault is.
Like, Thibault to me is on another level, just about anybody as just his block and steal ability. Some assistants without head coaching experience you'd be most interested in seeing get head coaching jobs. I haven't thought about this in a while. I haven't asked about it. This is incredibly difficult to say because you just don't know. All right, we're back here.
Saved by the bell.
Ooh, Brown with a quick acceleration forces the turnover. No, they're going to get a jump ball instead. That was a great play by Brown just to sneak up behind Horford. I think he had a pretty good idea of what ATO Brett Brown was going to run. And with Horford's back turn, he came off his own man Harris and forced the jump ball. But Sixers still the advantage here with Horford. Although it is the Boston center against him. This is tough, actually. Tice has to tip it directly in front of him. It's actually kind of tough to do that as opposed to back. Yeah, Horford wins it. 8 on the clock. Harris. Switch by Tice. Harris, tough fader on the baseline, goes down. Critical bucket. Not quite a killer bucket, though.
Not yet.
Here's Stevens with his ATO double screen for Walker. Tries to split it again. Goes at Horford. A good job by Harris getting back in front. 10 on the clock. Ripped through by Braun. Tice's 3. No, he cuts the drive and swings right in. He beat Thibault and Horford.
I thought Thibault was going to swing for the steal there, and he might have gotten it too. But
and that was, as much as we harp on how good Thibault is, that was pretty weak defense. Like that's one where you don't go for the block or the steal. You just stay solid. Get your body in front of him. He's not going to make a floater over you. Simmons posting up on Hayward. Snug pick and roll. Swings it to Thibault. His drive along the baseline. Nice pass to Simmons, and Simmons with the awkward hook that goes. Thibault is throwing a couple of nice dishes. Remember, he had that nice pass to Simmons underneath when he was posting up earlier. Similar action to last time to get Harris onto Walker. Quick pull by Walker. That could have been big, but didn't go down. Simmons, he wants Thibault to come screen for him. Wrong footing Braun. No, Braun cut him off nicely. Goes at him again. Has to pick up his dribble. No advantage gain there at all. And we're going to get a timeout by Brett Braun. This is his extra timeout. Wasn't going anywhere in the possession, and probably their last chance before the under 3 to use that timeout. So I like that. He didn't just automatically decide he was going to use it. He waited for the possession, and nothing happened, so call the timeout. Why not?
From Chris Pereira, would you like to see salary matching rules relaxed to encourage more trades? No, not particularly. I think the rules are fine right now. The rules that I would personally like to see relaxed a little bit more relate to extensions. The main point of some of those restrictions is to protect owners and front offices from themselves. I think giving them the latitude to sign richer contracts if you have sufficient bird rights and all that stuff would be beneficial overall and lead to some less awkward situations.
I liked it better when the extensions were really limited because it just meant more exciting free agency. And also, I think most extensions end up either overvaluing or undervaluing players because by definition they occur with less information.
There's more prediction, yeah. Or projection.
Is fouling on the set play after a timeout a smart tactic? I think a lot of it depends. Are you late in the game where the other team is up against the clock? I think the teams foul too much in those situations, and especially do it when they've already inbounded it to a disadvantaged situation. You let them take the ball out and then throw the ball in again to a dangerous place without the clock running until you touch it again. But yeah, I think it could work if you have it to burn and it's not, they're not at the end of the clock for that possession. So Horford, yeah, looks like he's bleeding from his right wrist area there. Infection control will take care of it.
It looks like there might be something above and below his wrist.
It's always hilarious to me with the trainer always has some really nice suit on and a watch, and then they're wearing the rubber gloves at the same time. Shouldn't they just being the trainer is weird. You see them because during most timeouts they're there on the bench, but during most timeouts they just don't have anything to do, so they're just standing around.
For the game, Philly 11 of 27 from 3, Boston 14 of 34. And so if you think about the old line with Philly of how many points they can lose from the three-point arc, a lot closer in this one.
They get it to the elbow. Horford looking to post up Simmons. Flop by Kemba, and then he's going to draw the foul. Good foul. He's saying, hey, where the hell was the call?
Yeah, you'd sure rather have that foul than give Ben Simmons a dunk.
Yeah, well, I like that ATO. That's really nice stuff for Brett Braun. He called the timeout. You can put these free throws on Brett Braun because their possession was going nowhere. And that's a great pass from Horford, too. Tice is pressuring up on him really well.
And not every time a player falls down is a foul. There was Simmons bumped Kemba Walker. Simmons is bigger than Kemba Walker. He doesn't have a right to get a foul call there necessarily.
Uh-oh. Danny, you see
Momofuku on the line.
Yeah.
No.
Jared Weiss, we'll see what happens. But Tice, this is also could just be an offense-defense substitution here as well. But we'll see whether this counts.
Well, I don't think it's. Yeah, that's true.
If it's only for a couple of possessions, it doesn't. Because Jared Weiss and I have a bet of whether the Celtics would close with a true center or not. Tatum setting the screen for Walker. Back to Smart. Pitch back to Walker. Crossover. Simmons with the steal. Oh, man, that was a dangerous play. I hope Richardson is all right because Smart went right into his legs. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with that left leg of Richardson.
And that gets into this line. It came up with Dellavedova a bunch about reckless and hustle. Smart was going for the ball there, but Richardson's legs were there too.
Yeah. Now that one I don't mind as much because Smart has a direct path to the ball, and when he decides to dive, yeah, Richardson's leg is moving forward into there. He's
Yeah,
not just
that's
like
not. It's not like
yeah.
was that the Corver one where Corver was just
He
standing
broke,
still?
he broke his ankle. Yeah. Game 2 of the 2015 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, and since they're in the bonus, that's a non-shooting foul that generates free throws for the Sixers. And Boston in this game, they're perfect from the free throw line, but they've only taken 8.
Yeah, and when you throw in their inability to convert at the rim, they really have struggled for easy points in this one. 7-point game here. Probably about 6 possessions left without fouling for Boston to make that up. So substantial favorites now are the Sixers. Brown screens for Marcus Smart. He's one-on-one. This is not an advantage matchup at all. He's going to try and get it in the lane. Throws it up. No foul. Good job not fouling from Horford. He knew that Smart would flop for the call. Now Horford is in the post against Smart. Let's see if they go there.
They haven't gone away from.
Yeah, Josh Richardson, pick and roll. Simmons slipping it. He's done a nice job of slipping these picks, and that's probably just about do it. 9-point game now. Ben Simmons, I really liked. He's so fast as well that he sets these screens, and if you're switching it, he can cut right to the rim. Walker, nice play again. Simmons with another deflection. He is fired up, and rightfully so. Now Simmons. He's not going to make these right-handed hook shots as often as he has tonight. I mean, I think he hasn't missed one of those yet. Those are not, those aren't layups. Those aren't 70% shots. But that one is a pretty good one. A lot of times he'll be kind of fading away. And he's made some of those tonight, too. So Celtics probably need to start looking for some threes here. Tatum. Simmons goes over the top. Tatum just tripped, I think, over his own man, Tice. By the way, Tice is back in. They're closing with him, Danny. Here's a deep Walker 3. That's going to miss. Rebound Philly, and very likely that's going to just about do it here. Wells Fargo Center crowd very pleased with the work of the Sixers. Richardson. Horford posting up. Late clock. Trying to create space. Fades. Bucket.
Would you have any interest in switching to Cleveland, Detroit for the last 41 seconds?
Is it close?
Yeah, it's a 2-point game.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know the full context. That's all I know.
Sure, why not?
Let's do it. Pistons have the ball up 2, but there's still lots of time.
Here, would you mind?
I'll switch the camera.
Getting the camera.
I got it.
I'll get the supplemental.
And it's on a commercial break. Oh, so here we go. Oh, thank you. I'm going to guess. We'll see how that works out. Nope. That guess was not good. I can't get the whole... With this one, I can't get the whole thing. I'm sorry to you guys. The Cavaliers have 100 points. Because I can't do that without showing basically the whole damn game.
Oh, come on. All right, well, we'll pick it up here. If you want to join us here on Cavaliers Pistons.
What a stop by Colin Sexton. He blocked Bruce Brown.
Yeah, that was a huge play. Trying to get this stupid remote to work. Oh, come on. There we go.
You got it. Sort of. Yeah, and a really nice job by Sexton anticipating exactly where Bruce Brown was going to go with that hook shot. A lot of guards have pretty basic skill sets when it comes to those types of moves. So Sexton, now the Cavs have the ball down 2 with 35 seconds to go. You want to go quickly, but you don't want to rush anything because getting a good shot is better. But I mean, you do have the possibility of the 2-for-1 if you go real fast.
Finally, the game everyone's been waiting for. How's Stroutman doing here, by the way?
What
was the
I think it was 220, so I think he wants overtime.
Oh, really? He took it was 220.
It might not have been 220. I don't
Oh, yeah,
remember.
that's
I
not-
don't. I
that's
don't.
not very close.
I don't remember what it was. That's so I might be wrong. It might have been 210. I don't know. We'll see.
Dan and Erica Metzler are on this. I used to date a girl named Erica Metzler. Couple of dates, but that is kind of weird to see someone with that exact
That name.
exact name and spelling, like Erica with a K too, like not even a C, but it's not the same one.
Allegedly. Leading scorer in this game is Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson has 29 points on 14 and 19 from the field.
As he said, the game everyone's been waiting for.
Andre Drummond, 28 and 23 in 43 minutes.
This could be a big game in the race for the tank, though. So Cavs going to try and get the 2-for-1 here, you would imagine, with the genius coaching. They better not move like slugs here if they want to get this shot off. Here's Love over Maker, and he's blocked. Rebound Sexton. Thompson going right through Drummond, and he got him on the arm. Nice strength from Tristan Thompson. Has he ever had 30 before? He's played 40 minutes in this game.
To the basketball reference.
Drummond has played 43 minutes. Why are you playing anyone 43 minutes in this game?
Yeah, he caught him on the arm. People in the chat, if you want to guess Tristan Thompson's career high in points, I am pulling it up right now.
And yeah, that completely terrible shot by Love, as Love is going to get replaced by Alfonso McKinney, who's back on a 10-day.
Tristan Thompson's career high was 29 against the Boston Celtics in April of 2013.
Yeah, that's back when he was would have been.
I think it's his second year.
Well, that's back when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna throw it to him in ISO, see what Tristan Thompson could do."
And he makes both.
Yeah, tie game, 24.5 left, so a 0.5 differential.
Which basically means the shot clock is off.
Yeah, so this one, it's absolutely critical that Detroit run the time down completely. Dude, we're gonna get some overtime here. Maybe this will be awesome. So his career high is 19. That's great. Do you think Love is angry or happy to be on the bench? I don't think he cares for a defensive replacement.
Sekou Doumbouya has played 20 minutes, 8 points on 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, and +8 with 4 fouls. The starting lineup for the Pistons was Brown, Mikhailiuk, Snell, Sekou, and Drummond. But Thonis played 20 minutes, Christian Wood 14 off their bench.
What do you think? It's got to be Rose here, right?
That's my thought.
Rose would always, back when he was with the Bulls, he would always go to a step back to his left in this situation. Interested to see, and they're probably going to just go for the straight ISO. Oh no, are they guarding with McKinney? Oh no. Oh, that's not going to work. Jetty Osman is on the floor. Dude, Rose is about to break McKinney's ankles if they're just going to go with the straight ISO here. And that does seem like what it's going to be. Are they going to go for the screen from Drummond? I think I wouldn't. I would just let him ISO here. We'll see if help comes from Thompson. Rose running it down. Looking to go left. That's what he likes to do. There's that step back to his left. Ooh. Way off. Yeah, he looks like he couldn't get... And they're going to call a shot clock violation here, so Cleveland will have a chance.
They'll have half a second.
Yeah,
that's enough
Rose,
time to catch and shoot.
I mean, he got the separation, but it looked like he just didn't bring the ball into a shooting pocket cleanly.
Well, should they give a shot clock violation if the shot? Oh, I guess if the shot is resolved. But if it's in the air, if let's say
that's just the rule.
Yeah.
I mean. Should or not, that's the rule. Is that it's the once the shot clock violation occurs, only 24 seconds can have run off, even if you would be waiting to see after that 24 seconds of whether it is a shot clock violation. They reset the clock back. So yeah, it should be they've done this right. So you can catch and shoot in this scenario. They're gonna replay it for no reason
to make sure that it didn't hit the rim.
I mean,
wow, Minnesota is up 71-51 on Portland.
Oof.
So I'm looking at what's going on in that game. Portland is shooting 38% from the field, 41% from 2. That's bad. Wiggins has 7 assists.
Is anyone still watching this? That's my question. Is anyone sticking around here for Pistons Cavs? We are taking all of your Pistons Cavs questions during this review. I don't know if I can do overtime for this though, because we still have to, because you have to go to your
that's right
your thing after this, right? Yeah, and we got to still record on Philly and Boston.
Yeah. But wait, now they're saying end of regulation. Oh, so maybe they just.
All right.
Okay. No. We'll say goodbye.
Maybe it did hit the rim. I don't know. I guess. Sorry to tease you guys with more of this, but I forgot that we have to record and you have something to do after this. So, apologies.
I mean, if you want, these 10 minutes isn't a big deal. If you want to do it, let's do it.
I mean, it's gonna take like 20 minutes, so it's gonna be a while.
Okay. Oh yeah, and we still have to record that segment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I mean, we'll be a while. All right, thanks for joining us as always. What are we doing next week, by the way?
I know it's Wednesday, but I don't know what the game is. Let me pull it up. It's probably the Sixers again. Well, yeah, we might put that under review. It's Brooklyn, Philly.
The triumphant non-return of Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
Well, here, hold on. We can do this. I guess we could do another poll too.
Yeah. Well, and we'll I would say we wait, but tentatively Wednesday the 15th will be the day.
Yeah, there's no reason to do this on the air. It's really dumb with me.
But thank you so much for watching. There will be a new Dunked On tonight / tomorrow morning, depending on when you sleep. And patreon.com/DuncanLaRue. We have new content coming out all the time. We'll do a mailbag in the next couple weeks.
All right. Till then.